Yo, 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 what is up? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome yet again for another watch along video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever it is you're tuning in from this watch along. Yes, it's the fourth round of 16 game. As soon as this game will be over, we'll be halfway through the round of 16 games. So it's the game between Bafana and Cameroon, teams that have an awesome history in the competition. Cameroon, 5 times winners. South Africa, also 1 time winners. Of course, going head to head. And of course, you're going to see who is going to come out on top. Of course, it's also the one of the most awaited games of the round of 16 matchups, together also with the game that is going to be played on Tuesday between Algeria and DR Congo. Of course, I've got some very interesting games. So whoever wins this game is going to go and play Morocco. Morocco earlier on beating Tanzania by 1-0. Morocco pushed all the way by Tanzania, especially in terms of chances, but unfortunately Tanzania had 2 wonderful chances that they were unable to convert, but eventually the prowess of Morocco was able to see them through. Anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. As always, if it's your first time on this stream, please make sure you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And, of course, if you're watching this stream and you have not yet subscribed, please make sure you do subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, support the channel by liking the video. For those that are interested in the Premier League games, yes, the Man City game is currently ongoing. Yeah, Man City are currently leading 1-0. Goal that was scored by Reinders. Game is now in the second half. Yes, so if you want, you can also maybe follow that game before the watch along, rather before our featured game starts. Will be right about in 10 minutes time. So as for the lineups, yes, pretty much wholesome changes for South Africa, which you'll see in a bit. Williams in goal, then Mudau at right back, Gezena, Bokazi and Kabini. Kabini comes on to replace Modiba. Then in midfield, Mokoena continues to appear for South Africa. And then Aubas, I think, let me just change that to have indicated two same thing twice. So let me just remove one. Then of course Aubas comes into the team, and also CBC. So that means Sithole drops to the bench, and then of course up front we're gonna have Police as the left winger. Then of course Mofokeng as the left winger. Right winger, and then of course Foster as the lone striker. So Moremi drops to the bench, so it means that manager think he's decided to make a few changes so that at least he can ensure that his team remains fresh, and also it could also be him trying to protect his team so that they do not pick up yellow cards. So of course, if you do pick up yellow cards, they do accumulate into the next game. So if let's say somebody who comes into this game with a yellow card is gonna be booked, that means he's automatically gonna miss the next game if South Africa get there. So that is why I think the manager has made wholesome changes, but we're gonna see how it's gonna work out. As always, South Africa, I think for me, my biggest issue with them is that they have been unable to control games properly, especially moments when they're on the ascendancy, and also they also think might struggle when it comes to breaking down a low block, which as you saw in the game with Egypt, they were unable to break them down. But let's hope that at least this game they are gonna improve. So Cameroon playing in a 3-4-2-1 system. That's why I said this game might actually be quite tricky for South Africa, because that system is very, very counter-attacking. Yes, if that is a word. So for the team that Cameroon have picked out today, Epasi, the goalkeeper, continues to play. Then of course Malone Jr., Koto, Noho as the three central midfielder, other two central defensive midfielders. In midfield, gonna have Chamadeu as the right wing back. Then, of course, Avom, Baleba, and Yongwa as the left wing back on the other side. And then, of course, Mbumo and Namaso as the 2 10s playing behind the striker. And, of course, Kofan, the young striker, 21 years of age, who had a very wonderful goal against, which goal did he score against? Was it Burkina Faso? Let me check. There's this wonderful goal that this guy scored. Was it Mozambique? I think it was Mozambique. Yes, it was Mozambique. Beautiful goal right there. So he continues to appear up front. And of course, let's hope that it's going to work out for them. So teams have pretty much made their way onto the pitch. Yeah, we're just listening to the national anthems. Of course, starting with South Africa. Of course, this is a very, very big game for them. Yeah, they'll be hoping at least they can finally punish the demons where they've been able to win this tournament, because the only time that they've actually won it is when they have played at home. That was way back in 1996. And of course, South Africa, you can actually say maybe the Brazil of Africa, where their fans are so passionate. It's like they have this, not law, but this belief that they should be winning African tournaments. So anyway, we are gonna see. We are gonna see how they're gonna fare on. As always, guys, make sure you are utilizing the chat section. If you fancy a South African win, make sure you vote in the chat. If you fancy a Cameroon victory as well, make sure you do put it in the chat, because you know there are no draws. Of course, when it comes to knockout football, you either win or you go home. There are no two ways about it. When it comes to the head-to-head record, yeah, these teams have met twice before in other AFCON qualifiers. First meeting was in 2016. Actually, they attended 2-2. And then, of course, most recently in 2016 as well, that also ended in a 0-0 draw. So I'm sure both teams will be hoping at least to get the better of their opponents, and of course maybe now progress to the latter stages of this tournament. And of course, the winner of this game, like I said earlier, goes on to meet Morocco in the quarterfinal. And of course, the other games are going to be played tomorrow. And of course, the other teams that are on this side of the draw are also Nigeria, Mozambique, and Algeria, and Democratic Republic of Congo. So you can pretty much say that this side of the draw is the one that is quite difficult. Because whoever gets to the final from this side is clearly going to go through some very difficult teams. Because whoever wins here goes and meets Morocco. Then in the other games, we're going to have Algeria versus DRC. Then, of course, Nigeria versus Mozambique. So whoever wins that is going to meet the one who won the other game. So if Algeria do win their game, they might actually meet Nigeria or Mozambique. So, and many people are picking that as the quarterfinal. But please do not rule out DRC as well. DRC, do not in any way rule out DRC, because this team is also no, yes, it's actually a powerhouse in Africa. It's just that lately they have not been that good. But back in the day, they used to be very, very effective. Yeah. And then, of course, on the other side of the draw, we have Mali, Senegal, Egypt, Benin, and Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso. So on that side, I think you can say that Mali, Senegal is quite difficult to call. I don't know who might eventually win that game, but I think I'm going to fancy eventually maybe the prowess of Senegal to take them through. Yeah, because I think Senegal may maybe have too much quality for Mali, especially in midfield. And of course, the likes of Sadio Mane. Yes, very good players out there. Then, of course, Egypt on a collision course with the Ivory Coast. That's also going to be a very, very big game in the quarterfinal. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Kenyan officials were actually officiating games at AFCON. Wow, okay. I didn't know that. So today we have the Kenyan team that is taking charge of this game. Got 3 officials, 3, yeah, so of course the referee, the 2 linesmen, and of course the 4th official. So The referee and the two linesmen are from Kenya. So anyway, I didn't know that Kenyans had been picked to officiate games at AFCON. So that's not really a first, but I'm happy to see at least our boys are actually doing way better. They're not just good for long distance running. At least uh, they can also not really support, but at least represent the country when it comes to the it called? What is this called? At least to the officiating side of games. Yeah. So anyway, so as I was saying earlier, Egypt and Ivory Coast clearly on a collision course to meet in the quarter final. So we're just gonna see how it's gonna go, and of course, let's hope that gonna get some big games. And of course, if either Egypt or Ivory Coast makes it through, they're gonna meet the victor between Mali and Senegal. So anyway, by the 18th of January, this tournament will be over. So as soon as these games are over, we're gonna have two more games tomorrow. That is now Egypt, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, and Burkina Faso. Then on Tuesday, we're gonna have the last round of 16 games, Nigeria, Mozambique, and of course Algeria versus Democratic Republic of Congo. Yes, we have kicked off. We have kicked off. We have kicked off. Yes, so South Africa have kicked us off. Here they are playing in a match changed kit of all white, while Cameroon in their traditional kit of green t-shirts and of course red shorts. Apoles picks up the ball, trying to play in Mudau. Mudau is now with Mokoena. Koena tries to go forward, but follows blocks. It's all the way back to Noho. And Noho with a foul there. Noho with a foul there. I don't know what he did. Let's hope that he did not stamp on Mokoena's leg, because if he did, then I think he did. So it's gonna be a free kick to South Africa. Yeah, Baleba was telling his goalkeeper to come for the ball, but I don't know. I think the goalkeeper did not want to come for it. So Baleba was kind of pissed off at his goalkeeper for not coming out to collect that ball because he was trying to shield it away from a police. So anyway, guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, Mokoena is still down. Mokoena is still down. So hope he's gonna be okay. Honestly hope he is going to be okay. Yeah, clearly he's been an ever present for this South African team. Can more or less play anywhere across that midfield, especially central midfield. Can play as a 6, he can also play as an 8, but I think he more or less plays as a 6 because Sit Hole is the one who normally sits and just more or less scans and of course protects the back line. So it's a free kick to South Africa. Free kick to South Africa. Let's have a look at this delivery. Be taken by Paulus, the guy from Orlando Pirates. Yeah, Apollos. Header over the bar, man. That was a chance for Foster. That was clearly a glorious chance for Foster. But he headed the ball over the bar. Foster, man. Foster should be doing a whole lot better with such chances, man. Just if you just kept your header down, man, it would have been 1-0 to the Republic of South Africa. Anyway, guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If it's your first time on the channel, please make sure that you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Of course, if it's your first time and you're enjoying this stream and you've never been here before, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you're coming back and you're not yet subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. So it's a goal kick to South Africa. Yeah. Cameroon pretty much not settled into the game, but we'll see. Maybe eventually, game is played in 90 minutes, guys. As people say, game is 90. Game is 90, man. Game is played in 90 minutes. So eventually, maybe Cameroon are just gonna settle. But so far, they're just happy to allow South Africa to have the ball. South Africa with the early running. Yeah. Of course, if you look at the strength of both teams, yeah, South Africa are the favorites here. But as you know, especially now when a team comes into any game as overwhelming favorites, you don't really know what's going to happen. Because you clearly saw that if it wasn't for poor finishing from Tanzania, maybe they would have knocked out Morocco. Because if you are to score early, especially when it comes to this round of 16 games, and you just maybe choose to spark the bus, if the other team is unable to break you down, then you're going to win it automatically. As that is what Sudan attempted 2 days ago. Foster in behind. Foster overran the ball, so it's going to be a goal kick. Come on, Foster, man. But I think he fouled Malone Jr. Was he onside? I think he looked onside. Yeah, but Foster, he pushed Malone out of the way, so it's going to be a foul. Free kick rather for Cameroon to be taken by Percy. Yeah, it's still 1-0 in the Man City game. Yeah, so for those that are also interested in that game, yeah, still 1-0. Game has actually you only have 15 more minutes to go in that game. Chelsea are pretty much playing a very underwhelming game. Expected them to go at City, but I think maybe the change of management has maybe forced them to play a very, very mid to low block. But at least when the second half started, they actually came out to play, but eventually the prowess and the strength of Man City has kind of showed. So maybe Man City are going to close it out eventually, but game is pretty much still in the balance. In the Chamadeu, this is now know who goes long, looking for Ozata Kofan, but unable to play through to him. Picked up by Williams. Williams restarts quickly. Picked up by Mokoena. Police into over the bar, man. Namaso, what the heck are you doing, man? Sorry, that is sorry, that's not Namaso. That is actually Mofokeng. Mofokeng, man. Mofokeng. Okay. You have started missing chances, You have started, Okay. You know what comes after that, You know what happens when you start missing chances and you don't convert, The other team, as you know, is just gonna get maybe one chance, and just like that, you might be done and dusted. Hey. Anyway, that was an interesting chance by Mofokeng, but he was unable to convert. Mofokeng, you should have buried that chance, man. Honestly, you should have buried that chance. It seems very easier to score than to miss, but he just got underneath the ball and just put the shot over the bar, man. Oh! Another chance, man! Aye! Kabini, man, the left back. Ay. Another big chance. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Ay. Eesh. Hey, Cameroon look to be well short of their quality, man. Oh, man. Two chances, two big chances for South Africa in 2 minutes, man. Just like that. Hey. Yeah, those are big chances, man. Gabini should have scored that, honestly. Gabini should have scored that. Yeah, those are big chances, man. Big, big chances. Unfortunately, they were unable to convert. So, anyway, we move, we move. We do move. So, guys, please make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you are not already subscribed. If you are watching the stream and you're not yet subscribed, please make sure you support the channel by liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel. Zmbumo, Bumo loses out. Victor by Mokoena, Bokazi. Yeah, South Africa actually, they seem maybe to be having too much for this Cameroonian team, eh? Anyway. Oof, Cameroon, man. It's Avom coming forward. Loses out to a police. Hey, well, police gives the ball away. It's now with Nohu. Nohu, wonderful challenge from Mokoena. Is able to halt that attack. Long looking for, not even looking for anybody in particular from Cameroon, but picked up by a police. A police surrenders the ball into Koto. Koto into the box. Ah, it's been cleared, man. What is this guy doing, man? Really? What is Malone Jr. doing, man? Hey, hey, sometimes these players, man, the decision making, man. Decision making. Ah, Baleba missed that shot, man. Or was it Kofan? Kofan missed that shot, man. Yongo had played well, especially on the wing, eh? Actually moved the ball well into the box, but unfortunately not deliver a successful cross into the box. Seems like Cameroon have been able to settle now into the game, eh? They seem to now stringing their passes, but anyway, intercepted by Kabini, South Africa. Kabini, poor pass. Poor pass by Kabini. Puts his team on the defensive, but well defended by Mbokazi. He's now what was that? Was that Abbas? Abbas, yeah, brought down. So it's gonna be a free kick to South Africa. Anyway, guys, I hope you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you are here and it's your first time, or rather you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please make sure you support the channel by subscribing to it. And of course, like the video as well. So, Gezana coming forward into Mbokazi, back to Mbokazi. Give and take, give and take, give and take. Goes long. Poor pass, man. Don't know what he was attempting there. So lay back to a passy. So guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel. And also utilize the chat section by voting in the poll. If you think South Africa are gonna win, yes, do vote for them. If you think Cameroon are gonna win as well, yep, do make sure you cast your vote there. And also, maybe if you also want to put in a prediction, you are free to do so. Nice play. Apollos. Foster coming clean through. Foster. Goal! Ah, but it's offside, man. The referee, assistant referee has his flag up. Let's have a look at that, man. Ah, he was clearly offside. Yeah, he was offside. Yeah, well worked move by South Africa, but Cameroon are playing a very, very dangerous high line. And anything can happen, especially when you're playing at such a high line. Anything can happen. They're checking the goal, but I don't think it's gonna stand. This goal is not gonna stand. Because Foster was clearly in an offside position. Yeah, of course, yes, been chalked off. So goal has been chalked off. So it's gonna be a free kick to Cameroon to be taken by Bang. A passy away is picked up by a police. A police is able to release Mofokeng. Sorry, that's a police. A police attempting a shot in the box. Oh, miss kick. But it was further cleared by Cameroon. South Africa coming back at them. Ah, poor pass. Bom Kabini surrenders possession to Cameroon. Cameroon at least can now recycle with Avom into Malone Jr. Malone Jr. tries to find Kofan, loses out. Is now with Apolis. Apolis tries to play in Mudao. Apolis. This is Mofokeng. Mofokeng. Foster! Unable to get to the ball. Epasi came out strong to get that ball. So, hey, South Africa clearly turning on the style right now, They are clearly turning on the style, man. Kofan! Ah, Kofan unable to get inside. Yeah, needed two guys to stop him. So, yeah, this game is clearly end-to-end stuff, man. I hope it lives up to a billing. Yes, this is a police. Moses Mudau, supported by a police, picked up by Mudau again. This is Aubas into CBC, Bokazi into Sabini, back to Bokazi, Gezana, this is Mokoena, this is Mudau, Mokoena, back to Ngezana, Mbokazi. They're just trying to draw them out. And Ngezana, yeah, of course, South Africa just trying to draw out this Cameroonian team. Just trying to draw them onto the ball. Maybe see whether they can go on the attack. Actually, no, the victory for South Africa was in 1994. It was not in 1996. 1996 is when we had the. Wait, was it 1996? I think it was 1996. Yes. That one they played at home. Remember, Mandela was actually attended that final. Yeah, so this is a police into Mudau. Mudau plays with CBC. So that's Mokoena. Mokoena into CBC. Back to Gezana. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time on the channel. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are watching this stream and you're not yet subscribed, please make sure that you, in fact, smash the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel for more of such content. Seems like Yongo has is in a bit of a bother here. Just went down off the ball. I don't know whether somebody had fouled him, but Let's hope he's gonna be okay. Let us hope he is going to be okay, because you don't want to see players go down, especially early on, and maybe get ruled out for the entire tournament. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If it's your first time on the channel, please do me a favor, guys, of liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's now players resumed. Mr. Yongo is okay to continue. This is Mokoena. This is Mudau. Mudau. Apolis. This is Mokoena to CBC. Mokoena the far side into Bokazi. Bokazi. Mokoena. Mokoena looking for Mudau, holding the width. Mudau, the box. Cleared by Koto. It's going to be a throw in to South Africa. This Yongo is back on the pitch. Yeah. I also do remember, guys, that South Africa are going to kickstart the World Cup in 2026 in Mexico, Canada, and US. They're going to play the first game against Mexico in Group A. Yes, that's a repeat of the game that South Africa also played in 2010 when they hosted the World Cup. That was also the first game of that year's World Cup. And how funny is it that 16 years later, when Mexico are hosting the World Cup, they actually kick off against South Africa in a repeat game of the one they had in 2010. Yeah, so Yongo is unable to continue. Yongo, he is unable to continue. So being taken off, he will be replaced by Nagida. Nagida comes on to replace Yongwa. So Nagida is coming on to replace Yongwa. Don't know whether Yongwa is actually suffering from cramp or is just fatigue or he had an issue, but so he's been unable to continue and been taken off. This is Yadiga clearly onto the action. Yeah, he's able to consider throwing on the far side. So, guys, hope you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time on the channel. Please make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. So, Ngezana is going to take the throw in. Intercepted by Malo Jr. It's now with Avom, Yoto, sorry, Koto rather. Mbumo, give and go. Mbumo, down the line. Mbumo coming forward against Mbokazi. Mbumo. Took three to block him. It's now picked up by Mbumo again. Mbumo, what are you gonna do? It's forced all the way back to Koto. This is Nagida. Nagida into the box. Into Kofan. Avom. That was Baleba. Loses out. Nice defending from Baleba. Wins the ball back. Nagida. His crossing path was blocked by Mudau. So Avom. Too much on the cross, man. Come on, man. Bro, what the heck was that cross? Clearly, what the heck was that cross, man? Anyway, guys, keep liking the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time on the channel. and you're not yet subscribed, please make sure, please do me that favor of hitting the subscribe button and also hit the like button as well. And also, if you are watching this stream, you are returning viewer and you're not subscribed, please make sure that you also subscribe to the channel as well. We started by Williams to Ngezana looking for Mudau. He gives it away. It's now with Kofan. Kofan. Yep. Ngezana able to shield the ball away from him, but Kofan was actually fouling the guy. So it's a free kick to South Africa. Yep. So Chamedeo, the first side into Mbumo. Nice tackle by Kabini. It's picked up by CBC. CBC was being fouled, so it's going to be a free kick to South Africa. Dow kicks it long. Able to find a police, so it's gonna be a throw into South Africa. Kick long. It's now with a police. A police. A police. Shot blocked. Picked up by Mbumo. Mbumo coming forward. Is blocked. Well defended. So guys, hope you are liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Yes, if it's your first time on the channel, please make sure you are liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel. Tasandile, hi, yes, hi to you, my brother. Hi to you too. Hi to you too. Hi to you too. So gonna be a corner to South Africa. Ofokeng, yeah, able to force the corner. So let's see how they're gonna deliver this corner into the box. So they're gonna do something from it, or it's gonna be cleared away. So more Ofokeng leaves it for Zata Police. Yeah, Police is the one standing over the corner. A police is the one over the corner. Let's see what he's gonna do. A police into the box. It's cleared, picked up by Mbumo. Mbumo plays it back to Nagida. Plays it back to Mbumo. This is Namaso. This guy was even playing, man. I'd even forgotten about him. I had forgotten about this guy, man. Now with the passy. Passy. Come on, is he gonna? Don't know. Yeah, the calf. It chairman. Oh yeah, chairman person rather is. I think he's of South African origin. So, and funny enough, I've seen him in almost every game of this tournament. Anyway, what a way to support. What a way to support, man. Well, that is what you do, man. Of course, if you are the chairperson of something, you're supposed to support it. Anyway, Cameroon coming forward, a bad pass. By Mbokazi. Mbokazi to Ngezana. Is Mokoena. Yeah, the game between Man City and Chelsea has ended in a draw. Yes, Enzo Fernandez has gotten an equalizer in the 94th minute of stoppage, the 94th minute of that game. So that game has ended in a draw. So it's enough to take Chelsea or the Man City back to second place. But unfortunately, they are now 6 points behind Arsenal. And I think maybe they should just give it up now. Maybe at this stage, they should just surrender the league title and say, you know what? Arsenal are going to win this league title because Arsenal are 6 points clear. And you have only played 20 games. Still have maybe another 18 games to go. So I think it's going to be Arsenal's league to lose. From the beginning, I've always said this has always been Arsenal's league to lose. Unfortunately, Man City unable to capitalize the back of back-to-back draws. The last game they drew 0-0 with Sunderland. Now they have drawn 1-1 with Chelsea. So they have lost more ground to Arsenal. Yeah. Hey, Ngezana, you better be careful, man. Of course, if you do such things, man, hand across your opponent's face, you know what that means, bro. You know what that means, bro. Anyway, it's a free kick to Cameroon. Free kick to the Cameroon. So guys, keep liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Bumo, turn over the free kick for Cameroon. Let's see what he's gonna do. Bumo. Bumo to the box. Cleared by Mbokazi. Going to be a corner for Cameroon. It's gonna be a corner for Cameroon. I think Mbumo is the one who's gonna get over there to take the corner as well. He's the one who's always on set piece duty for Cameroon. Of course, penalties, free kicks, and corners. So Mbumo, nice cross to the box. Cleared by Mbokazi. Cleared by Baleba. Oh, Chauda! Goal! Cameroon have taken the lead, man. Cameroon have taken the lead. Chamedu, man. Chamedu, man. The ball fell to him in the box, completely unmarked. Yes, it was actually what you call a very dodgy opportunity for him because The Baleba came in with a shot, deflected to him. Then he was able just to pass that ball into the bottom left-hand corner of Williams' goal. He was clearly not in an offside position, eh? Baleba with a shot, actually deflected off, was it Mbokazi? Actually, it was Ngezana. And then Chamadeu just passed that ball into the bottom left-hand corner. 1-0 to Cameroon. Yep. Yeah, I just said, yes, of course, the rule of football, man. South Africa wasted two glorious chances the first 15 minutes from Mofo Keng and who else? Sabisi. And just like that, when Cameroon have gotten their big chance, they have scored from it. So, why is there a lengthy VAR check? Yeah, a goal has been given, eh? I don't know why there is a lengthy VAR check on this, eh? Because clearly, are they appealing for offside? It's no offside. Clearly no offside whatsoever, man. Came off a South African player, but the Baleba shot was blocked by a South African player. Unfortunately, they could not react in time. And Chamade was able just to slot that ball into the bottom left-hand corner. So it's 1-0 to Cameroon. I don't know why they need to take a long time to review this. Eh? It's pretty much straightforward. Yeah? Goal has been given, yeah. Clearly, it's a goal, man. So that's what I've always said. I will always keep saying it. I will never stop saying it. If you do not take your chances, just expect that as soon as the other team gets a chance, they are gonna score. Best case in scenario, what we have seen right now. Also in the Man City game, we clearly saw that they had plenty of chances to kill off Chelsea, but they did not do so. And Chelsea just had one chance in the stoppage time and they were able to convert. So, like I said, if you do not take your chances, man, you are eventually, when it gets the opportunity of the other, if one of those opportunities maybe falls to your opponent, or that similar opportunity, and they convert it, then whom are you gonna blame? Clearly, South Africa have nobody else to blame but themselves, because clearly they also the chance that they wasted in the first, especially in the first 10 minutes of the game, where Mofo Keng was clean through, rather than him just passing the ball into the bottom corner of the net. He just chose to shoot over the bar, and then Sabisi was able to overlap, but unfortunately did not convert the chance as well. So, anyway, Cameroon have taken their chance and they are well on their way. They are well on their way. I just hope that this South African team is not going to lose their heads. Eh? How was your holiday, my brother? Well, my holiday was good. My holiday was good. Had a wonderful time. Yes. Basically, this time around, I was just seated at home. I wasn't really doing much. Just thought it's best if I stay at home. So, but the holiday was good. At least rested. Is now that the holiday is over, all of us are gonna be resuming work tomorrow. So tomorrow we are back to normal schedule of work that we were doing before the holiday started. I hope your holiday was also good, eh? And I hope also your new year started well. So to the rest of you in the chat, eh? I hope you had a wonderful crossover to the new year. This is a free kick to Cameroon, to the box. Williams. Very easy pick up for Williams. For fun. Seemed to be hurt, but I think he's recovered. Eh? Namaso brings down Mudau. Game is restarted quickly. Now with the Mofokeng. This is Mbokazi. Mbokazi looking for Mofokeng. Looking for Sabisi. No, sorry, Kabini rather. Why do you have to foul a player? See, there's something that I've never honestly understood in football when it comes to these players. A player is rushing back towards their goal, and you as the opponent are chasing them down. You're trying to get the ball. And you clearly know them going back to their goal means that they're actually disadvantaged. So why should you foul them and give them the opportunity to get out of jail? Anyway. But somehow I don't know how the man South Africa are able to secure the free kick. Maybe I think was an advantage. A policy to the box. Picked up by this Mbokazi shot. Hit the head of Mokoena with the shot. Hit the head of Ngezana. Recycled by Namaso. Cleared by Nadiga into Mbuemo. What a pass, man. What a pass. This is Kofan into the box. Ah, come on. Mbuemo just given him the ball and then immediately ran into the box. This is Nadiga. It's picked up by Namaso over the bar. Eish. Hey. I told you, yeah. If this game continues like this, it's clearly gonna favor Cameroon. Because Cameroon are clearly, yeah, their style of play is more or less a transition type of football. Cameroon are not known for possessing the ball, keeping the ball, creating chances. For them, they can clearly see their setup today is more of they're more or less playing a transition style of football where you just want to ping balls forward towards the likes of Namaso, Kofan, and Mbumo. So this game is actually very much in Cameroon's favor. Foster was here offside. Yeah, Foster was in an offside position. Yeah. So this game has pretty much favored Cameroon, because of course South Africa will be willing to will be pushing forward, and if they push forward, it will be at the expense of them leaving gaps in behind for the likes of Kofan and Mbumo to exploit. So Mpasi rather starts play, goes long looking for Kofan. The foul by Nadiga. So that was actually Kofan. It was Kofan. Anyway, guys, I hope you are continuing to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're here and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do so. And of course, if it's your first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. And of course, if you're a returning subscriber, make sure you do me also that awesome favor of liking the video. A free kick to Cameroon, foul on Koto. So it's gonna be restarted by this looks like Koto. So goes back to his keeper Epasi rather. Epasi chooses to go long, looking for Kofane. Kofane headed away by Mbokazi. Oh, somebody put the ball down. Thank you, Nadiga. Thank you for putting the ball down. Know who back to his goalkeeper. Epasi chooses to go long again. It's what you call route one football. Route one football. Hit it long, man. And let's hope we are gonna go on the attack. Just hit it long, man. Sandile, oh my God. South Africa, man. But today, like I said, it's gonna be a tough order for you guys. You have to break down this Cameroonian team, and hope that once you break them down, that you don't leave gaps in behind for them to exploit. Because, like I said, for me, I think the thing that worries me about South Africa is that, especially when they are chasing the game like this, becomes so difficult for them to get back into it. Remember against Egypt with 10 men, Egypt playing with 10 men, they were unable to break them down, man. Unable to break them down. Nadiga into Namasa rather. It's now with he's a Kofan. Mbumo. Mbumo loses out, heavy touch. Tamedo, goal scorer, just lets the ball run out of play. Who are you supporting, Vinskey? I was supporting South Africa, but the way they are playing, man, ever since they conceded, they have been unable to create any chances. And you know, especially now when you are nullified like that by the opposition, and when you are chasing a lead, becomes a very, very hard for you to actually get a goal, man. And we get back into the game. Yeah, I hope we will do everything. Yeah, true. I honestly hope that, I don't know, maybe you can tell us, Mr. Sandile, which which creative players do you have on the bench? Because I'm sure you know your country better. Which creative players do you have on the bench? Because I know Moremi is there, but Moremi is more of a winger. I know Sithole can also come on, but Sithole is more of a central defensive midfielder. This is Mofokeng, Mofokeng, Inu Mudau. Mudau blocked by Nadiga. It's gonna be a corner on the far side. Yeah, so guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Yes, before you take this corner, make sure you hit subscribe on the channel so that you cannot miss, that you don't miss a single watch along that we do in the future. Apolis takes the corner. Aubas, the box into Gezana. It's picked up by Mokoena. Mokoena. Let's play into Apolis. Apolis forces another corner off Mbumo. We're going to have 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes of added time. Ah, started by Mofokeng. Mofokeng into the box. And well wide, man. Well wide for Mokoena. We have Mbule, Moremi, Nkota, and Evident Magoba. Okay. So now the attackers, more or less, like you said, the attackers, maybe people who can create. Yeah. Maybe if it's necessary, maybe make some of these changes at halftime. Because you can't let this game go on for long like this. And you're not really creating much. Because ever since those big chances, have South Africa gotten any other chance? No, not at all. It clearly shows you that maybe that was the chance that they needed to convert. Aish. Eyes Kofan able just to take down the ball like that. Foster, well defended. Chamadeu looking for Mbumo. Mbumo going forward. Mbumo is happy to concede the corner. That's actually a corner. A corner. What? Come on, assistant referee. The ball was deflected off Kabini. This is Foster. Foster picks up the ball, unable to combine with the police. Is Nadiga. It's like ever since this Nadiga came on, Ish. Sorry, Nagida rather. Nagida, sorry. Nagida. But since he came on, he's played well, man. Clearly playing well as that advanced fullback. He's clearly playing well. Maybe the injury to Yongo was a blessing in disguise for Cameroon. Also, Talene Mbata. Anyway, let's hope that they're gonna do something, man. But yeah, maybe you might have those attackers, but does the coach honestly trust them? Does the coach trust them? As because I know Mbata has played this at some point, has played in this tournament, but Talente, I haven't seen him come on, maybe even start any game. So I don't know whether the coach trusts him to maybe save him when maybe the game is not going their way. Anyway, that's halftime. Referee has blown for halftime. Referee has blown for halftime, so it's been I don't want to say a poor first half from South Africa, but at least they've had those two big chances. But after that, nothing else, man. Nothing else. They just had half chances, and unfortunately, eventually, Cameroon were able to take their chance, the one and only chance that they got in the game. In fact, that was the only chance that Cameroon had, and they scored from it. So, oh, it's the full name of the player. Oh, those are not two different players. Oh, okay, so okay, yeah, because of course, yeah, Mbata has in fact played some games. Yeah, Mbata has played some games, but anyway, now that you mentioned, let me just look at that bench again. I don't know. I know Mbata has come on in some games. Mokwana as well. Magopa, as you said, Nkota. And why does the Chandre Campbell, why doesn't he play? I haven't seen him play any game. Has he played any minutes in this tournament? Chandre Campbell, has he played for South Africa in this tournament? Has he? No, he hasn't played, man. He has not played a single minute in this AFCON. I don't know why the manager doesn't trust him. Maybe because Foster is his main striker. And of course, maybe he doesn't honestly want to take off Foster. But sometimes you have to, of course, maybe, if it's clearly not working, it's not working. If you need to take off one of your best players and bring on somebody else, because this is not player FC. This is not player FC, man. This is actually a team sport. Does Cameroon have a world-class player? Not really. There are no world-class player in Cameroon. In fact, I would extend that to the whole of Africa. Do you think we have any world-class players in Africa right now? Tell me. Maybe even like 2 or 3 world-class players. Maybe Salah who's close to that. Mamouche, not really, because he doesn't even start for his club. Who else am I gonna? Yes, who else are we gonna think about? Maybe Hakimi as a world class fullback, because actually Hakimi is world class. Yeah, I'd say actually Hakimi is world class. Yes, Hakimi is world class, man, because the way he gets up and down for both club and country, man. Ish. Like I said in that stream, he's actually a player maker fullback. And also he's able to get on the end of crosses and also tap-ins in the box. Remember the Champions League final? He was actually I think he was the man of the match. Was he man of the match? Based on his performance, man. A right back who's able to overlap so high up and to the point where he even occupies the central striker's position. So Hakimi definitely world class. But for Cameroon, can't really say that there are any world class players there. So are you talking about now or in the past? If you're talking about this squad, clearly no. But of course, in the past, we've had, yes. Of course, in the past, we've had. Of course, Eto. Jeremy was world class. No, debatable. Jeremy, I think, was more or less an impact sub for Chelsea, because that was more or less the game that he used to play. I'd say maybe Eto, Patrick Mboma. Also, this guy that retired, he was close to being world class, but he was not really playing at the highest level. Abubakar, Alexander Song, of course, and also back in the day. These are the midfielder. Oh yeah, another one that I used to love, man. It's called Mark Vivian Foy, man. Yeah, man, that guy passed on, man. On the pitch. Yeah, so it was very sad, man. It was very, very sad. Yeah. Yeah, these are some of the players that were very, very good for Cameroon at that time. But I think I'd say world-class players, I'd say maybe Mboma, Eto, Makun, not really. Okay, maybe it also depends with what you're referring to as world-class. What metric are you using to judge world class? Is it goals and assists? Is it being able to perform for both your country and your club? Because for me, the metric that I use for world class is I look at 3 things. One, goal and assists. 2, their goal and assist both for club and country. Two, the ability of that player to impact the game. So how is he reliant? How is he a reliable person when it comes to uh oh, how do I say that? In fact, how is he a reliable person, especially when it comes to other teammates looking up to him as the player that they can count on to maybe get the goal for them or create for them. So impact in games, and also another thing, very, very important, trophies as well. I also look at that. So trophies also another thing that you should also look at. And also I can also add a fourth thing, the impact of that player in big games. So how does that player play in big games? Maybe in quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, in games in which the team is actually really struggling. Is he the one who's gonna actually say, you know what, by the way, this is on me now. I'm gonna take that ball and put it in the back of the net. I'm the one who's carrying this team. So that is what actually I used to evaluate world class. So maybe you can also maybe let me know what metric you use to evaluate rather a world class player rather. Players that play in top teams like Champions League starters. Okay, that's what you use. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So in that case, would you say that all the teams that play in the top Champions League teams are world class? Can you say all the PSG, Arsenal, Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern players are world class? That's why I said maybe you need to maybe add certain metric to it. Because maybe if you just go by that metric, maybe somebody like example. Let me give you an example like okay, back last season, Kivior was playing for Arsenal, and they actually made it to the semi-final of the Champions League. So in that case, can you actually refer to Kivior as a world-class defender? Not really. That's why I said maybe you need to expand it further, maybe to include other things, maybe like goals and assists, maybe trophies as well, uh, impact on the game, especially when the game is a little bit cagey, and also ability of that player to show up in big games like quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, and for somebody that you can actually say to me actually is world class is now maybe when it comes to maybe a team like Barcelona, maybe somebody like Lamine Yamal is actually on world class levels because remember last year, actually no, that was 2024 for the European Championship. Can actually say that he was the creative spark for his country, and he was able to at also carry the team, especially as a 16, 17-year old. So that is what you can say, maybe that you can deem as world class. As for Salah, of course, you can also maybe also call Salah world class because last season he was clearly the man for Liverpool, contributing goals and assists. In fact, he had like 18 assists in the Premier League and like 28 league goals. So clearly, he was the guy who was being relied upon by Liverpool. So clearly, yes, you can say maybe in that when it came to that, maybe Salah was also regarded as world class that particular time. But of course, Salah also misses so many chances as well. So, and also another thing maybe you can also look at for world class is ability of that player now to convert gilt edge chances. Man, is he the kind of striker who just needs one chance to score? And of course, people like Harry Kane, Lewandowski, Eto'o back in the day, Drogba. Yeah, they only need maybe like one or two chances, maybe even to score. They don't need like 7 or 8 chances to score one goal. You don't like stats, my friend. You also, it's part of the game. It's part of the stats are part of the game. Yeah. That's all for me. I look at two things whenever I'm evaluating any game. One, stats. Two, also the eye test. You need to observe the game because if you just look at the eye test, it might actually tell you that the team is actually doing well. But when you look at the stats, you realize that the team was not creating any chances. They're not creating any clear-cut chances. So that is where now stats come into play. So, of course, you're not supposed to look at one metric in isolation, but you're supposed to now look at all of them. Yes, because they're all still part of the sport. Yeah. So you can't just rely on the eye test and say, because I see this player is performing well, then he's clearly a good player. then he might not have any kind of end product, or maybe his positioning might be poor, or his final delivery might also be poor. So in that case, you might realize that he may not also be a very, very good player. So anyway, like I said, you have to consider such things. Oh yes, Thierry Henry as well, yeah. Because these young guys compare Thierry Henry stats to these young strikers, but we know they only played against better defenders. True. That is why now I'm fully behind what you are saying. Yes. Clearly, world class right now is not the same as what world class was back in the day when the likes of Henry were there and Eto'o. Because for me, as I've looked at the game so over the years, because I started watching the game maybe late, maybe 94, 95, and I'd say the best period of football was between maybe say 95 all the way to 2011, 2012. That is when we had very, very wonderful players gracing the game. But after that, it's like soul dipped. And of course, nowadays people just want to rely on stats. I think that's where you're coming from. At least now I have context to that. Yeah, people just look at stats. They say that they see that, oh, Mbappe is scoring goals, or Haaland is scoring goals, so it's definitely world class. But look at also the overall contribution in the game. If you have to take Haaland and maybe put him in back in the day in a team that had Ronaldo, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, would he have the same output? Chances are no. Because even look at the type of defenders that Henry used to play against. Henry was a very good striker in the Premier League. When people like Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Vidic, who else was also playing at that time? Yes, very wonderful defenders, especially for those top clubs. So clearly, yeah, for me, I'd say that the quality of the sport has kind of gone down. That is why you have very many young Gen Zs and also Gen Alphas. They just want to watch the game based on stats. They just look at GA. They don't look at the overall performance. They don't look at the contribution on the pitch. So they just look at one metric. And of course, if you just look at stats, of course, you'd say that Haaland will be the best striker to have ever played football. But no, you can't really say that. And of course, you can't really say that will be the best striker to have ever played football. And you have never watched Maradona. You have never watched Pele. You have not watched Van Basten. You have not watched Johan Cruyff. Which other striker have you not watched? You have not watched Romario, Ronaldo, R9. You've also not watched Henry. Maybe just relying on clips online. Because you see the clips, maybe they just give you a snippet of what the game was, how the guy was performing back then. But they don't really tell you the full story as well. That's why I've always said you're supposed to watch the game. Also, for me, I run away from this conversation where people say, you know what, let's pick the best team ever in the history of the sport. You can't really say that because you're actually now doing justice to the players who played now in the 50s and 60s. The Di Stefanos, these are the guys that used to play for Hungary, because Hungary was also a very, very powerful team in the 50s and 60s. So, and of course, you can't just pick one era and say, you know what, this is now the best era of football. This is now the era that had the best players. No, you can't say that. Because look at some of the games some of the conditions in which those players were subjected to. You could see that some of those games were very, very difficult, man. Remember back in the day when they used to play with no offside. Because they also used to play with no back pass rule, where a team would just want to waste time, they just pick the ball. If they want to waste time, they pass it back to the keeper collects it. And just like that. And of course, back then, you had very little protection for the players, man. Some players would even play barefoot. Some others, not like the way the game has become soft nowadays. Especially I watch it in the Premier League where a player is just pulled back a little bit. He just held back kidogo. The referee is just quick to fee. It's a contact sport, man. Especially, of course, you expect the player to actually touch each other. And of course, trying to hang on to try and maybe get to the ball via the player. So, yes, of course, Carvalho, Stam. Yes, of course, that's the guy I was trying to remember. Stam, Ipia, Prem had serious defenders. And look at all those defenders. What did they have in common? They were serious defenders, man. Defenders who loved a fight. Tell me some of the fighters we have nowadays. Tell me some of the defensive fighters we have nowadays, man. Tell me. players would actually say, you know what, I'm a fighter, man. I play this game, man. In fact, to me, football is more or less like a boxing match. I fight out there on the pitch for both my club and country. Nowadays, you don't have that. Nowadays, it's just a question of, so long as I've gotten the assist, I'm good. I'm considered world class. Anyway, game has resumed for the second half. It's a good discussion to have, man. And I think we can also continue the discussion, even as we watch the game. Oh, what a pass! What a pass! Shot! Cleared by Mbokazi. It was a wonderful chance for Cameroon. Nagida had sneaked in at the back. Wonderful pass from Carlos Baleba in behind the South African defense. He was trying to look for Mbeumo, but the ball did not get to him. Yeah. Let me also look at that era. Even look at some of the defenders that used to play at that time. You had likes of Gerard Piqué, also had Carlos Puyol. Wonderful defender, man. And a leader on the pitch. Corner for Cameroon's been cleared. Picked up by a police. Cleared by Udao. It's now with Nagida. Nagida into the box. Kofan! Go! Oh! Kofan, man! 2-0 to Cameroon. South Africa, bye, man. South Africa, see ya, guys. It's been nice you taking part in this tournament, but now you are going out. You are clearly going out, man. You are done and dusted, man. Kofan with a very, very easy header, man. Very, very easy header, man. Free header in the box, man. Nobody was closest to him. Where was Mbokazi? Where was Ngezana? Nobody was close to him, man. No hint of offside. Wonderful cross by Nagida. That is where you want to put those cross. In between the two central defenders, man. So that it's very hard for them to defend. Kofan with a glancing header into the bottom left-hand corner of Williams' net. Just like that, Cameroon have doubled their lead. Cameroon have doubled their lead, man. Yes, clearly, Cameroon. Cameroon, they say are not serious. Facts, they are not serious, man. Just like that, the game has gotten away from them. They're not coming back into this. They are not coming back into this. They are done. South Africa are done, man. They are done. You expect them to score 2 goals in the next 40 minutes. How now? How? Based on what? And they have not really been creating anything. South Africa. Anyway, it's been nice that you are part of the tournament, but now, unfortunately, you have to bow out. Anyway, guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If it's your first time on the channel, please make sure that you smash a like on the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you're watching this stream and you're not yet subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is Kofan. Foster. That was a chance, right? That was the chance right there, man. Of a mistake from Cameroon. That was a chance. Yes. In these games, it all comes to a matter of 50-50 decision making. How are we able to make the right decision at the right time? Nagida. So that was Baleba. Picked up by Police. Back to Mudau. Anyway, so yeah, let me see. I think, yeah, that was a wonderful discussion of the defenders used to play back in the day. Of course, we also remember the likes of Nesta, Maldini, Kaladze. Those are serious defenders, man. Serious defenders who understand the sport, who understand what it means to play, to put on the shirt, man. Cameroon will probably win. Not probably. Definitely. It is now definitely win. We show you. Man, I expected more from South Africa. Maybe I should have known better, man. Man, South Africa, you're done, man. You're done. Done. Because you know South Africa's record in this tournament. They don't perform well, especially when they are coming from behind. That's why I keep referring to that each game between them and Egypt. 10 men, man. They were still unable to break them down. 10 men. And in fact, actually at some point it was 9 men because Salah was just being treated as the outlet. Salah was being told to remain further forward as the Egyptian defenders just ping balls in towards him. Mofokeng, yeah, uses the ball out on the left hand side. So anyway, this is what I'm gonna say. If South Africa have any chance of getting back into this game, they need to score a goal within the next 5 to 10 minutes. If they have not scored a goal by the 68th minute, then they are done. Because what you should do is, especially when you are coming back from a 2-goal deficit, should at least ensure that as soon as you concede early in the second half and go 2 goals down, you're supposed to pull one back very early on, so that at least you also give yourself a chance of getting back into the game. But the longer it goes, it becomes very, very difficult for them even to get anything in this game. This is what we mean. Malini wasn't fast and athletic, but he could sense danger. Yes, decision making, man. Decision making. He would never let a striker get a free header at the near post. That's true. Another defender who could play anywhere. Put him at left back, he plays. Put him in central defense, he also plays. At right back, he plays as well, rather. Look at also people like Cafu. Back in the day, Cafu, Lucio for Brazil as well. Wonderful defenders, man. Wonderful defenders. Another guy used to play for Brazil back in the day. That team that won the 2002 World Cup. Let me look at that team. Let me see. Who actually, yes, Cafu, Lucie, yes, Roque Jr. and Edmilson. Yes, that was the team back then. That was the team. The likes of Gilberto Silva, wonderful 6 as well. Also have the likes of Rivaldo, man. Hey, what a wonderful team. Brazil had a wonderful team, man. So that's why I said, yeah. Of course, the standard has clearly gone down. And of course, nowadays, you are paying more for low quality players. Because remember, somebody like a Maldini or a Cannavaro. Yes, Cannavaro, another Italian defender. A Nesta, a Carvalho, a John Terry. How much would they fetch in the market right now? Maybe even 120 or 130. But back in the day, they would go maybe for like 40 or 50. Of course, because of the inflation. Of course, you also have to adjust for inflation right now. But nowadays, of course, you are paying more for low quality midfield defenders and midfielders and even players in general. But right now, somebody would value somebody like Kylian Mbappe more than Thierry Henry. And clearly, if you are given a choice between those two, my friend, even if it's an Henry who's a bit injured, I'd take him over over fully fit Kylian Mbappe any day. Hey, of course, Henry, my friend, Henry any day. Henry could hit free kicks, penalties, could also hit corners as well. He's a set piece taker for his club, also for his country. Could also get on the end of crosses. He could also score headers. And he was a very good striker, man. Very, very good striker. Anyway, Ngezana, Tumbokazi. This is Ngezana coming forward into Mudau. So back in the day, of course, standard of play was way, way better than it is today. Do you think Pep ruined football by playing Mascherano as a centre back? Everybody knows now wants a defender who can pass. Yeah, kinda, yes. Maybe it's more or less how the world has adapted to the modern day. And of course, because Pep was doing it and he was winning, so definitely now it made everybody want to copy that style. That is why you have, whenever now Pep introduces anything in the Premier League, whether it's inverted fullbacks, every other manager now wants to play the system as well. If Pep now comes with inverted wingers, or maybe playing people at false nine. Everybody wants to copy that as well. If now Pep introduces box midfield, everybody wants to play with a box midfield as well. A passy just gonna let that run out of play. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is what has happened. But back in the day, you know that players were very good at what they did. You'd have players that were specialties in what they do. So you'd have a defender whose specialty is defending, because that is why he's there. But of course, nowadays you want defenders who can score headers, who can maybe shoot free kicks, who can pass 60 or 70-meter passes. Of course, that is how the game has evolved nowadays. So, which to me is also a good thing, because at least it more or less brings something else into the game, because you also have to adjust with the tide. But see, at the same time, now you also lose out on the quality of where now, in this case, a defender was to have a poor game, but at least he's having goal line clearances and such. You'd actually say that he's not really played well, because people do not really value the art of defending anymore. Clearing the ball off the line is not as important as it was back in the day, because nowadays, if a defender is unable to play out from the back, you call him useless. He's not good on his feet. Oh, Kofan! 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 Ah, should have played in Mbumo. Mbumo! Now with Mbumo! Mbumo! Trying to toss and turn, but it's been blocked off. Chamadeu, nice pass. Now, unable to bring Avom into play. Wasn't Timeland captain under Mourinho? Was it Zanetti? I think it was either Zanetti or was it Materazzi? I think it was, because I remember that team that had the likes of Militao. Sorry, not Militao. Milito, Samuel Eto'o, McDonald Mariga as well. Crossing the Mofokeng. What the heck are you doing? You're cushioning the head of to whom now in this case? Chamadeu coming on the attack for Cameroon. Been blocked off. Let me look at that team. Inter Milan 2010 team. I think it was Zanetti. I think it was Zanetti, Now let me see. Or they had Toldo, Cesar, Zanetti, Lucio, Materazzi, yes, Walter Samuel. It was Walter Samuel. Walter Samuel was the captain. Christian Kivu, Stankovic, Thiago Motta, Wesley Sneijder, Muntari, McDonald Mariga, Esteban Cambiaso, Ricardo Quaresma, Samuel Eto'o, Goran Pandev, Mario Balotelli, Marco Anantovic, and of course also Diego Milito. So that's the team that won the Champions League. So it's a very good team. Look at that team, man. A team that just knows how to play football. They are not world beaters, but if you put them in their position, they are clearly world class, man. Because, of course, Zanetti, a wonderful right back. Julio Cesar, wonderful goalkeeper as well. Especially even somebody like Toldo, also a very brilliant goalkeeper. Cambiaso, a wonderful CDM as well. Yes, Zanetti was an inverted fullback, but nobody copies Mourinho. Yeah, true. Because, of course, they think that Mourinho's system is just based on parking the bus. Mourinho's system at least was also good, especially his system at Porto and at Chelsea. It was good. Remember that Chelsea team that he had, 2004, 2005. Hey, that Chelsea team was mad, man. Hey, that team was good. That team was good, man. Can I remember that team offered? I think it was Peter Cech. Then I think Paulo Ferreira, John Terry, Carvalho, and not Ashley Cole. Was it Wayne Bridge? He was playing at left back. I think it was Gallas. And then in midfield, I think it was Wayne Bridge. Not Wayne Bridge. Somebody I'm missing there. Then in midfield, they had the likes of Thiago. They had Makelele. And they had Lampard. Then, of course, Robben on the right, Damien Duff on the left, and then, of course, Drogba or Ugu Johnson as the striker. Foster is Mokofeng with a shot blocked. Then, of course, also Joe Cole could come in maybe to replace Damien Duff. Yeah, so that was actually a very, very good team, man. It was a very, very good Chelsea team, man. You look at that team, and then, of course, now you look at the Chelsea team today. You wonder, my friend, that Chelsea team, eh? I was even discussing it with a friend of mine. Back in the day, you'd have teams that have like around 6 to 7 players in the starting lineup that are natural leaders and captains. Because look at Chelsea, the team that also won the Premier League in 2006. He had Ashley Cole, could also be a captain. John Terry, captain as well. Carvalho, a captain as well. Michel Ballack, captain for his country. Michael Essien, captain for his country as well. Lampard, yes, vice captain for England as well. They also had Drogba. So you see, have like around 6 to 7 leaders in your team who can actually what especially guide the team in the right direction. They also brought in Deco. Deco at some point I think was also the captain. So not at Chelsea, but maybe a captain for Portugal. So you can clearly see that Foster Mokofe, what a save, man! What a save from a passy shot! Cleared, man. Recycled by Apollos. Apollos. This is Aubas. Aubas. This is Ali in the box. Cleared. Hey, South Africa, man. Yeah. That was a chance for them, man. That was a chance for South Africa. But anyway, keeper made a very, very brilliant save. Yeah, Mudau trying to attempt the flick. Then Foster, but the ball might have actually hit Foster on the upper arm. I don't think the goal would have stood if it would have been scored. But the ball clearly struck him in the arm. Ball clearly struck him in the arm. Anyway, guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If it's your first time on the channel, please make sure you do that wonderful stuff of liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel. Time is left, South Africa. 5 strikers on. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for them, man. Not gonna work. Kabini has been taken off. Very poor performance from this Kabini fella. Finally, Modiba comes on. Sorry, it's Kabini who has been taken off. So Kabini has been taken off to be replaced by Modiba. Modiba has come on. A left back. I don't know why Modiba was dropped for in this game, and I don't think he was carrying an injury or a yellow card. Yeah, team selection also has to be very questionable. And also, Magopa has also come on to replace Apolis. Why take off Apolis, man? Why take off Apolis, man? Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Has made the decision. So Mbuemo, these are 2-on-2. Kofane is not gonna do it. Nice starting position from Williams. He came out well to block that pass. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, Prince, you can clearly see that yeah, the quality nowadays has gone down drastically. Clearly gone down, man. Yeah, look at some of the players that used to play back then, like Zidane's, the Clarence Seedorfs, the Kakas. But another midfielder like Ambrosini. You tell me, what did Ambrosini used to be good at? Not much. He's more or less more of a box-to-box midfielder. Whenever you need him, he'd be there to do the business. And of course, in today's game, people would say that he's not techy enough. He's not technical. He can't hold on to the ball. He can't pass. But look at the contribution that he had at AC Milan, especially in their Champions League winning runs. Clearly, he was an integral part of that team, man. But another world-class striker that people also overlooked, Inzaghi. He was called a 6-yard box or maybe penalty box predator. Because that guy, whenever you give him any chance, either around the penalty spot or the 6-yard box, goal, man. Another striker who's very much underappreciated is Nadiga, or Nagida rather. The box, looking for Mbwemo the header, out of play. So you can clearly see that there are so many players who can be underappreciated nowadays, and back in the day they used to be so good, man. You just put them on the pitch and they do the business. Didn't play on today's game, yes. Of course they'd say he's too rough or he's too rigid, he's not a deep, he can't play as a deep lying player maker. But look at another game like somebody like Akante or a Makelele. Look at the way Kante was able to reinvent that Makelele role, where you're just ensuring that you break up play. But of course, somebody like Kante nowadays also not really be appreciated because people would say you'd want him at least to pass. He actually doesn't have just to have one job of maybe just being a. So it's not a box to box. It's a what? Ball winning. They are called ball winning midfielders. Ball winning midfielders. Because somebody like Kante would also really struggle, especially in maybe a team, maybe a Pep team. But put him in maybe an Arsenal team back in the day, or a Manchester United team, or a Chelsea team back in the day, you'd see what he'd do. Clearly, it'd actually run circles around the other midfielders, man. So that's the other thing, man. So nowadays we've run away from specialization, and we actually want people to be a jack of all trades. And as you know, as the expression goes, a jack of all trades is what? A master of none. If you want to do 5 things, there's no way you're gonna perfect all of them. You just need to pick one niche, and trust me, if it works for you, it completely works. So anyway, now that's the unfortunate thing with the world today. Like another example, look like somebody like Eto. Eto who survived the modern game right now. And Eto or Drogba. Look at what they used to do for their countries and their clubs. Just put him in the box, give him a chance in the box, he converts. Just that. But of course, nowadays, people would want, oh, can he hold up the ball? Can he bring others into play? Don't need all that. Just need to put that ball for him across into the box. You know, if you put across into the box for this guy, header, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna score. Okay, this is Mokoena with the free kick. Mokoena on set piece duty for South Africa. I don't know if that's gonna bend this over the wall. Let's see what he's gonna do. We'll win by power by force. Yeah, true. They've already won. I told you. So they needed to score a goal within those 10 minutes. Unfortunately, they were unable to do so. What a save from a passy. What a save off that free kick, man. What a save. The good thing about players like Gattuso is that players like Aka who not good at defending don't have to worry. Yeah, true, exactly. But nowadays you want players that, of course, we defend as a team and also attack as a team. If a striker's not tracking back, or he's not a team player, or he's very lazy, he's got poor work rate and such. But if you actually now put that striker up front, somebody like Inzaghi, was Inzaghi blessed with pace? Can you actually say Inzaghi was a channel striker? No, he was just more of a target man. But give him the ball in the 6-yard box or close to the penalty spot. You know clearly he's scored. Into the box. Cleared. Cameroon about to launch the counter. This is Mbumo. Mbumo coming forward. Mbumo. 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 Mbumo is just going, man. Mbumo, Kofan, Nagida. Nagida should have buried that, man. Excuse me. Nagida should have buried that. 30 minutes Cameroon, come on. They have won it. The Cameroon have won. For any Cameroon fans in the chat, please do not be worried about South Africa's chances in this game. They have clearly been dashed. South Africa are not getting back into this game. They missed out on their window of scoring and having a chance of getting back into this game. And of course, they're not really also creating any clear-cut chances. They're not working the keeper as well. In fact, it more or less looks like Cameroon is the team that's going to score the third goal. So, anyway, also another thing I also thought about is look at also maybe a winger like, which winger was this? Why did I forget his guy's name? Bas, somebody like a Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs was the type of winger whom very, very direct. Get the ball, run at the defensive line. Doesn't care about, you know what, I need to beat my man repeatedly. I know, you know what, I need to bring others into play. Beat your man, deliver the cross into the box for the likes of the Solskjaers, the Sheringham's, the Ruud van Nistelrooys, who was also the striker back then for United. Yes, Andy Cole. Yes, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So just put the ball, man. And so it worked, man, because football, like I said, football has not really changed much, guys. The fundamentals are still there. The fundamentals of the game are still there. You're supposed to put the ball into the net, and whichever way you do that, so long as you keep the ball away from your net and score on the other end, you'll win your games, man. But now we've completed football with systems. There have to be formations. We have to stick to that tactical plan. Should not deviate at all. But you're forgetting that still the game, even though it may have evolved, but the fundamentals are still there. The same way, if people maybe believe in the evolution theory, which to me I don't, because I don't believe that people came from monkeys. Because if people did come from monkeys, then why aren't there any monkeys evolving nowadays? Do you have any monkeys evolving nowadays into becoming human beings? So that is how now that entire rule has been ruled out. So yes, so that's I'm using this as an example, loose example. So basically now, if evolution theory, the fundamental of that being is not supposed to really to change that much. So if that is an upright being, then it's supposed to be upright. It's just that maybe the behavior might change, or maybe how it expresses itself might change, but the fundamentals are still there. The limbs are still there. There is the face, there is the head, there is the structure, the bodily structure, and all that. I can't name 5 players who are world class crossers today. Exactly. Exactly what I mean, man. Tell me, anybody who's gifted in crossing in today's game, eh? Because that is an side of the game that you have completely neglected. Just want fullbacks who can just keep the ball, man, and play balls forward, to the striker, maybe on the channel. But you never have people who can actually cross that ball, pinpoint cross into the head of a striker. You don't have that nowadays. That has completely gone, man. Is Yoto clears now throwing to South Africa to be taken by Mudau. Even let me know, like, yeah, like you said, yeah, crossers, yeah. I think that's inclusive of both defenders and wingers, yeah. But at least what you have also developed is now also world-class midfielders who can actually pass in through the lines, which is actually good. That's another thing that maybe we had also missed back in the day. Into the box, cleared by Yoto, further cleared by Nagida. So, was at least the likes of people like De Bruyne, David Silva. So, Mbale has come on. Mbule has come, Mofokeng. So, Mbule has come on. Mbule has come on for South Africa. So, you can clearly see that the game has kind of lost the fundamentals, yeah. where certain skills that used to be appreciated so well back in the day have been neglected. Yes. In fact, the only player that maybe you can think of is maybe a Trent Alexander-Arnold. At least that's a player that can actually now put the ball on a plate for any striker. Across the face of goal. Virtually cleared by Nadiga, but ball was ball had actually gone out. So it was actually ran out of play. Actually, no, it was on the line. Wonderful cross from Modiba. Yes, Beckham, Figo, Gerard, Juninho, Downing. Killer crosses. You remember, Downing, Stuart Downing, man. Hey, that guy. Sweet left foot. Like Prince, man. Thanks, man, for that footballing knowledge, man. You clearly know what you are referring to, man. That's good. It's good to remember some of those OGs, man. Yeah, look at somebody like Beckham, man. Could put the ball on a plate for you, man. You don't need to do much. You know, as soon as Beckham has that ball, I already have it, man. I'm already on my way to my first goal in this game. Because of the delivery, man. The delivery of either the set piece or the cross, man. Sweet foot, man. Modiba, why is he fighting with the Mbuemo? Mr. Bayon Mobo, yes or no? And who's that? Bayon who? I don't know whom you're referring to. Mr. Bayon. Bayon. I don't know who that is. And you see, another thing that also the game is missing is also the ability of maybe a midfielder to score. For somebody like and that's why somebody like Frank Lampard will always go down as a Premier League legend and a Chelsea legend, and even a legend of the game for what he did. You know, scoring 178 or 176 goals in the Premier League as a midfielder. You know how impressive that is. You know, there are even strikers who have never even gotten to even a quarter of his tally, and they're maybe even approaching like even 200 or even 300 games in the Premier League. So, yeah, that ability of a midfielder, man, to actually, because Lampard was not really a box to box, but he's more or less what you call a box crasher. He'd arrive late into the box and also offer himself as the second option for the team. And used to combine very well with the Drogba. Girls, okay, what are you referring to? Girls? Which girls? I honestly do not understand your message, my friend. I do not understand your message. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and, of course, subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time on the stream. Please make sure you hit the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Cameroon about to make further changes. Cameroon are making further changes. So now Namaso has been taken off. Namaso has been taken off to be replaced by Kemen. So Kemen has come on to replace Namaso, and Wu has come on to replace who's also been taken off. So Nagida has gone off injured as well. Yeah, so the guy who came on to replace an injured player has also been replaced, having been injured himself. So Woo is called Woo has come on to replace Nagida. So anyway, I like Pep, but I blame him for that too. Lampard and Rooney could score from halfway, but because of possession football, it's a low percentage shot, so players are not allowed. Yeah, true. Especially when if you are to attempt that, They would say, you know what, you're wasting chances. Did you have a chance of scoring like from that? So do not attempt it again. And that's why even the Puskas Awards nowadays is also for the best goal is more or less kind of dead as well because Kofan, kill it off! Kofan, put it wide, man. What a wonderful pass from Boehm over the top. Kofan was one-on-one with Ngezana. Unfortunately, he could not parry the chance. Yeah, of course, yeah. Look at how many goals, not even Gerard, but how many goals back in the day were scored from halfway line? Uh-huh. So remember the Chabi Alonso goals that he scored from half line. Charlie Adam, also in the Premier League, who else was also scored from halfway? Beckham as well. Modiba, Mudau. Yep, that's what I say. Look at that now. So how do you expect South Africa to get back into this game? And they are missing such chances. Foster, striker, completely scuffed his line. Mudau, I don't know why he's falling over. I honestly do not know why he's falling over. What's the best goal you've ever seen? Oh, man. Best goal. I think I'd say the best goal I've ever seen is the Zlatan goal against England for Sweden, where a guy would score with a bicycle kick from outside the box, and he had no reason absolutely of doing that. What are the chances of that ball flying into the back of the net? So I think for me, I'd say that was one of the best goals I've ever seen. Foster, come on, pull a goal back. Unable to do so. Blocked off, and eventually fouls the player. Maybe you can let me know which is the best goal I've ever seen as well. Foster, very angry with the assistant referee. I don't know why he went to complain to the assistant referee because clearly took 3 players to stop him, and Junior had to come across and stop him, but unfortunately he fouled the guy, and of course the assistant referee had to had to wave for the foul, man. So finally Moremi comes on. Wow. Moremi is coming on right now. Wow. To do what? What is Moremi coming on to do right now? Yeah, clearly this South African coach has lost the plot. Well, this is a guy that should have been brought on maybe around the 50th minute. At least Moremi is a guy who loves football. He loves to take on players, but unfortunately, he only gets 7 minutes. What is he going to do in 7 minutes? Is he going to be the savior now? Don't think so. For me, it was a 3 banana shot against Sparta Praha. Oh, yeah, that goal. It was actually a milestone goal for him. It was actually his, was it 160th goal for Arsenal? I think that's the goal that took him past the record of Ian Wright. Yeah, it was actually a good goal. Yeah, very wonderful goal, man. Yes. Now look at that, such goals, man. Where you just carve it like that. That is why for me, I love the midfielders like Modric, Cruz, players who know how to. They have a particular style of play that is just unique to them. Right now, if you are to ask me, what is unique about Mbappe? What is unique about Haaland? It's just maybe how they run, maybe how they attempt to shoot shots, but you can't really say they have a trademark finish or a trademark style of play. And of course, we cannot forget somebody like Lionel Messi. And for me, I've always said this: if clearly you understand football very, very well, the nitty gritties, you'd understand why Messi is a way, way better player than Ronaldo. In fact, that should even end that debate because look at the impact that Messi has had in games. Yes, Ronaldo, of course, has been scoring, and of course, it's a good thing to score goals. And I don't say that he's not world class, but if you are to look at how the game is played and what both of them offer, clearly Messi is a better all-rounded player than Ronaldo. Because Messi, look at what Messi can do. Messi can play both as a player maker and also a goal scorer and also a set piece taker. For Ronaldo, he's only a set piece taker and only a goal scorer. For Messi as well, look at the number of people that he takes to try and stop him, man. In games, you'd see like he has like 4 or 5 players around him, man. Whenever we used to come up against Barcelona, man, I used to be terrified. Foster! Ah! Why are you falling over, man? Stay on your feet. CR7 is better. You think CR7 is better? Okay, okay. If you look at goals, okay, maybe CR7 is better. But look at the overall contribution in the game, eh? Overall contribution in the game, man. Messi. Look at the best case in point. 2022 World Cup. Everything was stacked against them, but some of them managed to win the trophy. Who actually carried that team? Lionel Messi and Julio Alvarez. And do you think they would have won that World Cup without Messi? Or was Messi even selected the best player of the tournament? Look at the contribution, man. Hey, for me, it's Messi. Messi is levels above Ronaldo, man. But of course, this is not to mean that Ronaldo is poor or useless. No, Ronaldo is also world class as well. In fact, both of them are super world class, man. But if you are to maybe give me an option of to pick one, for me, I take Messi any day. Messi can play on the right, can play on the left. He can also play as a false nine. Hey, Messi, my friend. Messi. And you see now Messi came into the limelight when now the game was also now transitioning into more or less the system style of football. And you could clearly see that his talent was on another level, man. Hey, Messi. Hey, Messi, my friend. Another level, my friend. But of course, Ronaldo, Champions League record. Hey, that guy, man. So that guy fell in love with the Champions League. He said, "Not, this is my tournament." He said that this is my tournament, bro. And nobody's going to eclipse my record. To the box, Foster, goal! Magopa with a goal, man, for South Africa. They have pulled a goal back. Just a fortuitous cross into the box to none in particular. And then Magopa was able to get ahead of the goalkeeper and just pass that ball into the goal, man. Just like that. South Africa have pulled a goal back, man. Is the comeback on? Is the comeback on? Is the comeback on? Is the comeback on? I don't know whether the comeback is on, but we will see. Hey, finally one substitution has paid off for South Africa. Is it too little, too late for them? We will wait and see. Javi and Iniesta admitted that they forced fed the ball to Messi so that he could compete with. And of course, it was a healthy competition at that time. But for me, I look at not only their contribution at club football, but also at international football. Can you honestly say that Ronaldo has carried his team to a title? Maybe you can say the European Championship, but okay, in that tournament, it was a very, very poor Portuguese team and did not really play that good as well. So, but for Messi, man, an aging Messi, had to come out of retirement, man, after being on the back of so many defeats. Copa America, they lost 2 Copa America finals, and then eventually they won one. Then, of course, they went to win the World Cup. So, hey, my friend, look at any documentary online about that Argentine run to the final, and you clearly see why they were a wonderful team, man. And also look at how they played in that final. In fact, that final was never close. It was never close. Because if you look at the stats of that game, Argentina completely dominated. It's just that now France were clinical with the chances that fell for Mbappe. Yeah, it was just give the ball to Mbappe. Let's see whether they can score 1 goal or 2. That's exactly what France did. Because France completely dominated in that game from start to finish, man. It was a game for Argentina, man. Eh? The buying mobile, yes or no, FC Cameroon. I don't understand what you're saying. Honestly, I do not understand. I'm done with Bafana. I will support only Springboks. Don't give up on your country. Oh, Passy, what the heck are you doing, man? Eesh. Why are you coming out? Why are you rushing out? Stay in your line, bro. Stay in your line, bro. Yeah. Magop almost converted that chance into a goal, man. I don't know what Passy was doing, eh? And you're gonna have 5 minutes of added time. 5 minutes of added time. No, my brother. If you are done with Bafana, what about me as a Kenyan supporter who has got no hope is in his national team? At least for you, you have a Springboks, you have a Proteas, yeah, the cricket team. Which other team do you have that plays well in your country? I think it's that. Things a hockey team is not so good as well. So as you can clearly see, at least for you, you have hope. Nepasi, come on, Nepasi rather. Referee. Some of these decisions I think are so dubious. I will keep on saying this. Keepers are so protected in this game, man. So let me ask, if a striker is jumping for the ball with a goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper has at the advantage of using his hands. So if the keeper is touched a little bit, how is that a foul? So is the striker supposed to contest for the ball with the striker and not touch the striker, and not touch the goalkeeper, and not touch the keeper at all? No, that cannot work, man. It's a contact sport. And besides, the goalkeeper has the advantage of using his hands. So, of course, he's going to have a much higher leap. For me, I think some of these decisions are so dubious. They are just so dubious, man. Maybe they should look for ways of actually changing some of these things, because clearly, keepers are so protected, man. So they are treated like a piece of egg. They're not supposed to be touched. Or the lump of the atrocities that they commit, man. Then they rush out, they take off, they take out. What's wrong with Mbombo? Hope is okay, man. Bro, Messi had Higuain, Tevez, Kunaguero, Di Maria, Mascherano, Lamela, of course, would be win the World Cup. Says had Figo, Deco for 2 years only. What's his Mpasi doing? He's lucky fella, man. But of course, can you actually tell me that as soon as Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia, that you had picked out Messi and Argentina to win that tournament? Sorry, when they lost to Saudi Arabia, had you actually picked them to win the tournament? For me, I actually thought that they are going to exit at the group stage. So, anyway, yeah, I do get that, of course. And of course, this is also Cristiano's best chance of winning, because I think this has to be Portugal's golden generation. And I think somehow they do play better without him. Maybe they should use him as an impact sub. Maybe just allow him to come up and impact games, because if you play him from the start, you can clearly see that maybe it might affect their game. And maybe when he's needed to actually come good, he's not going to do it. Because, of course, like you said, the modern day game, you're supposed also to track back and do all that kind of thing. But now, unfortunately, we don't have anybody else to bring, because it's either Ronaldo or Gonzalo Ramos. And Ramos is also not that good. To the box, Mbule! It's cleared by Cameroon. It's out for a corner. That should be a corner, man. Guy said he'll eat grass if Cameroon wins. My goodness. Good luck to him. Make sure you serve it on a plate for him. That is what you call overconfidence. Why was he that overconfident, man? Why was he that overconfident? Hey, boss. You never do that, man. Mbule into Modiba. Back to Mbule. Mbule to the box. It's out for a corner to South Africa. Where was all this urgency for South Africa, especially after maybe 50 or 60 minutes? They have all this urgency in the last minutes of the game. Where was all this urgency? To the box, cleared. Magopa, it's now cleared, further cleared by Ozata Koto. Williams uses the up and over into Foster. Foster, poor attempt of a header. And the game is over. Game over. Bafana bow out, man. Bafana have bowed out of this tournament. They are done and dusted. No more Bafana in this tournament, man. No more Bafana. They have been beaten by a Cameroon team that took their chances, man. Bafana, unfortunately, they were unable to take their chances, convert as well. And just like that, they have fallen prey to Cameroon. Man. Bafana as always, they remain to be a huge letdown, man. Huge letdown, man. Huge letdown. After such a promising start to the tournament, unfortunately, they have been undone by very poor finishing on their part and also the lack of urgency. Like I said, they waited for the last minute of that game to have a bit of urgency. As soon as they scored one, they thought that maybe we can score another. But no, where was all that in the 50th minute? In the 55th minute after they had conceded the second goal. These are the agencies that they needed to have at that time. But unfortunately, they didn't. And just like that, they are done and dusted. So, Cameroon march on. They're going to play Morocco. So, it's going to be an interesting game. I'd like to see how both those teams perform in that game. Because Cameroon are very good, especially on the transition style of play. And Morocco, as you had seen from Tanzania today, they might have been susceptible to one or two counter-attacks. So if Cameroon are able to capitalize on such chances, I'm sure they are going to put that Moroccan team to the sword. Anyway, sorry to all the Bafana fans, myself included. Yes, I had backed them in this game, but unfortunately, all that came to nothing because they were unable to secure the victory today. And that's why I still take it back to the chances that they had in the first half. They failed to convert their chances. Yes, the chance that fell for Mofokeng and for, was it Nabisi, the left back. They were unable to convert the chances, and just like that, so it was actually Kabini. It was Kabini, not Nabisi. It was Kabini. So not CBC. It was actually Kabini. The chance that fell to Kabini. They were unable to convert those chances. If they had done convert those chances, it would have been a different game. But unfortunately, they were unable to. And as soon as Cameroon went forward, they were unable to let their foot off the gas, and they went on to win the game. And of course, Cameroon took their chances. You see the chances that Cameroon have had in this game. That Kofan shot, the Kofan header, and also the goal that was called by Chomadao. Yeah, they just took their chances, man. But for South Africa, it's another tale of a disappointing show at the AFCON for South Africa. In fact, their record at AFCON is so poor, man. Let me see. South Africa, Bafana. Bafana at AFCON. I'm sure they can look at their record at AFCON. No, in penalty shootouts, South Africa, the Cup of Nations. Yeah, so basically they've had a topsy-turvy performance, very topsy-turvy performance, Bafana. In 1996, like I said, that's the time they won the tournament against Tunisia. But since then, they've never won the tournament again. In fact, they did not qualify in 1994, 1996 they were champions. 98 they were runners up. 2000 they were in third place. 202 quarterfinal. And then the next three editions, 204, 206, 208 group stage. 2010, 2012 they never qualified. And then 2013 they reached the quarterfinals. 2015 eliminated at the group stage. 2017 did not qualify. 2019 quarterfinal. 2021 did not qualify. Most recent edition 2023 they actually were third in the tournament. So you can clearly see their performances at AFCON are just so up and down, so up and down, up and down. So I can understand why guys in the chat are frustrated by this Bafana team. I understand your frustration, guys. I honestly do understand your frustration. Anyway, it's well done to Cameroon. Well done to Cameroon. They took their chance, clearly. Can't really say they are the better team, but as far as the chances that are created, they are clearly better. Yeah, because they took their chances, man. In fact, if I'm to look at the stats of the game, so that is also important. Total shots for Bafana, 18, and then 10 for Cameroon. Big chances, 4 for Bafana, 3 for Cameroon. There you go. You see now that's where the problem lies. That 4 big chances, did they even convert with any? And they missed all of them. They actually missed all 4 chances. Actually, they missed 4 big chances. Actually, they missed 3. They missed 3. Unfortunately, all that passing prowess, all the attacking intent from all their players was unable to get them over the line. And just like that, Bafana left to lick their wounds. So let's hope that at the World Cup they're going to perform way better than AFCON. Because I think their next high-profile game is going to be now against Mexico at the World Cup in June. Yes, that tournament I think is going to start on the 6th of June. It's going to run for at least a month and a half. I think it's going to run for like 5 weeks. So do make sure, guys, that when you get to that time, you're also going to be there for some of this. Because, of course, you're going to do a number of World Cup watch-alongs when that time comes. South Africa have the best domestic league in Africa, but so it's frustrating. Yes, true. Yes, I said that, especially in their game against Zimbabwe, that they have the best domestic league, but unfortunately, it's like the talent getting it to work on the pitch is where now they draw the line. It's like it doesn't work for them. It does not work for them at all. Because you might actually say that got so many players, man. So many. But unfortunately, at the same time, how is their record in the CAF Champions League? I've not really been following the CAF Champions League because, you see, the teams that now do win, or the clubs that do win CAF Champions League will actually give you a good indication of what how their countries are going to perform in this AFCON tournament. So, let me check. CAF Champions League. Let me check. How have they been performing? South African teams, man. Let me check. CAF Champions League. Maybe the past 10 winners of this tournament. Let's have a look at them. So, in fact, if I'm to look at the CAF Champions League, Al Ahly have won it 12 times, followed by Zamalek, and then TP Mazembe, then S Tunis, and then Mamelodi Sundowns are the only ones that have won it from South Africa. They won it way back in 2016. There's another South African team that has won it. Oh yeah, Orlando Pirates as well, back in 1995. Yeah, so that's the only 2 teams. So in the most recent editions, who has actually been winning it? Let me check. That's Mamelodi Sundowns was actually beaten in the final in the 2020. So, yeah, so you see the PSL might be the best league, but I think it's got a mixture of so many Southern African players and also maybe players from there's players from West Africa, but I think players from West Africa actually go actually play in their official leagues. But of course, like you said, it is the best league. But unfortunately, it's like the talent coming out of there is unable to combine. Because most of these players do play together. I think maybe people like Foster is maybe the only one who plays abroad because he plays for Burnley. The other player plays for Burnley because Mofokeng, Moremi, I think, and also Apolis. I think they all play for Orlando Pirates. So clearly, you can see that these are players who have a wonderful working culture, especially at club level. But unfortunately, at the international stage, this is where they draw the line. That is where they draw the line. Maybe it also goes without saying that maybe countries that in Africa that are very good technology wise, that when it comes to sports, they don't really fare very well, especially in football. South Africa, very well advanced when it comes to technology, and they are very highly industrialized. But now, unfortunately, it's like they're unable to translate that onto the pitch, especially when it comes to football. But of course, in other sports like cricket and rugby, they are clearly a very, very strong nation. But unfortunately, maybe football is where it becomes very, very heartbreaking for South Africa. Sorry for them, man. Very, very sorry, man. Yeah. In fact, if I'm to draw, actually, I draw a lot of similarities to between South Africa and Harambee Stars, now the Kenyan team, because Harambee Stars is the team that you don't expect them to do much. You don't really know when they're gonna turn up, and at the same time, you don't know when they are gonna fail to show up. Coaching, maybe, yes, I'd say based on this game, they clearly needed the right kind of coaching, because why didn't Modiba start the game? Why wasn't yeah, actually, yeah, why didn't Modiba start? Why did they choose to start with was that Kabini? Yes, I keep forgetting this guy's name, Yes, Kabini. Why do they choose to start with Kabini in this game? Then in the middle, why did they choose to play with Aubas? Aubas was completely lost in that game. And then in the second half, clearly Mofokeng was not clearly not working. Then why did they take him off and bring on Moremi sooner? Because Moremi, as soon as he had that wonderful cameo against Angola in the first game, in the next games he started he played from the start. So I'd say maybe Hugo Bruce made a clearly selection errors in today's game, because the team that had actually gotten him this far, he actually made changes to it, because Albers and CBC came into the team, and of course the guys that are playing for South Africa back then are actually now in the other games were City Hall. The other guy who was playing for them. Who was this other guy who was playing for them? Was it Mokwana? It wasn't Mokwana. Who was the other midfielder? Let me check the game between Zimbabwe. There was this guy that was playing for them in midfield. Let me check. Yes, it was actually Sithole, Mokoena, and Mbule. Yes, exactly. You see now, Mbule was the one who was playing as the 10 in that game, against Zimbabwe. And they played well, by the way. They actually played well. But unfortunately, the team that had actually gotten him this far, he actually took off two of his dependable midfielders out there in Sithole and Mbule. He only left Mokoena. So Mokoena was forced to build up a new chemistry with Aubas and this other guy called CBC. So, and of course, sometimes whenever you're paired with different midfielders, your game might actually be affected. And of course, now today, Moremi was clearly the bright and light for South Africa whenever he came on. And also in some of those games, he decided to take him off. And then, of course, Apolis. Apolis is way more effective as an inside forward coming off the left. They choose to play him on the right. So, what do you expect? So that they can just accommodate Mofokeng. Mofokeng, who was in most games that he has come on, has had zero impact. So why are you choosing to play a player who has had zero impact and actually bench a player who's actually been performing well for you? Because Moremi was actually performing very well for South Africa. So anyway, it's unfortunate that, like I said, it's poor decision making that actually cost some of these teams the points and eventually the tie in the first place. Because if I'm to look at this, yeah, Moremi actually played wonderfully. It's been actually he had a wonderful tournament in terms of doing what a winger does, getting to the byline and see whether you can combine with now either Modiba or Mudau and just cross the ball into the box. That is what Moremi was good at, and especially when I remember when he came on against Angola, he terrorized them, Maze. He really terrorized Angola. So unfortunately, they have sold themselves short. Others don't want to coach. Where is Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pina? They should be coaching. But okay, it depends. Maybe they don't fancy coaching. Because I think Stephen Pina, ever since he retired, he's never been seen anywhere. I don't know where he is, right? But I actually don't know where Stephen Pina is. I've not heard of him in a very, very long time. Where's Benny? Benny McCarthy. Actually, Benny McCarthy is the one who's managing Harambee Stars right now. I don't know if you know that. Benny McCarthy is the current Harambee Stars coach. And in fact, you know what? I want him gone, man. Because last month he was, actually in November, he was thrashed. Was it 8-0 by Senegal, man, in an international friendly? And for me, that was the last straw. Benny McCarthy, done. And do you know why I want him gone? Because he's a prodigy and a student of Eric Ten Hag, another failed coach, man. Eric Ten Hag was the coach of Manchester United when Benny McCarthy was a first team, not a first team coach, but just a coach of the first team. But back then, Eric Ten Hag was the manager. Is he a bad coach? Okay, you tell me. Hear this, See now when Kenya was hosting the Chan tournament that took place in August, Kenya actually played. Actually, they actually played good, but unfortunately, you can actually maybe attribute that type of performance to the money that the Harambee Stars players were promised, because they were promised that for every win that they are to have in that tournament, the president was to give to give each player 1 million Kenya shillings, which they actually did. And then at some point, when Kenya now had won against, they won against DR Congo. They drew with Angola. They beat Morocco, and they also beat Zambia. Now, listen to this. As soon as they won the game against Morocco, Benny McCarthy and his team were visited by the president, President Ruto. It's called President Ruto, William Ruto, in the dressing room. And he boldly said, he told the president, you know what, Mr. President, you should know one thing, that it is not my tactics that is making this team win. It is the money that you have promised them. So, if as a manager, you say that to the president and tell that to the entire team, and they are listening, so what do you expect them to do? So you're clearly telling us that you are tactically inept, and the only thing that is saving you is if there's any kind of incentive for the team. And of course, if now there's no incentive, are you telling me that now the team is going to perform poorly? Well, actually, that was the case, because as soon as that tournament ended, we had very high hopes when it came to now the African qualifiers, or the AFCON, or the World Cup qualifiers. And then unfortunately, in our very next game against Gambia, a team that we drew 3-3 at their place, we were beaten 3-1 in Nairobi. Very, very poor performance, man. Then McCarthy was saying, you know what, the players that I picked, I could not pick the Chan players because the Chan players are not so good, because this is now an international standard and you need international players. And they actually had wonderful players that had impressed during that Chan tournament. So they lost to Gambia, and then they also lost to, they beat Burundi 1-0, and then in the last game they lost to Ivory Coast, which was actually expected. They lost 3-0 to Ivory Coast. And then, now when it came to the round of World friendlies, because Kenya are not playing for anything, we played our first international friendly against Equatorial Guinea in where? In Turkey. We lost 1-0. Very, very poor Guinean team that did not even create anything. Unfortunately, we also did not even create a single thing at all in that game. Then the next game against Senegal, we were thrashed 8-0. And actually, we were already 5-0 down at halftime. So, for me, his style of play and management is not good at all. Because, you see, even if you know that clearly the money incentive is the one that is maybe pushing the players, you don't say that. You don't say that to the president, because maybe you can tell him behind closed doors, maybe when the team is not there. But of course, say, you know what, money, Mr. President, yes, the money that you have promised our players is so wonderful, and in fact, you know what, it even gives them an extra desire to win this tournament and perform well and do their country proud. So the money was just an added incentive, but of course it was expected, because also the players in Kenya are also not being paid for some time, and they're also not being paid well, because we've had so many issues with FIFA, also with the federation. We've been getting bans left, right, and center. So, in fact, for me, I'd expected that maybe at some point, maybe we're gonna be kicked off this aspect of hosting the AFCON in 2027, maybe because of a lot of interference. But funny enough, we've been able to hold fort for the time being. Yeah, so that's why I said, for me, he's not a good coach. And like I said, if somebody like Eric Ten Hag is the one who was training you, then clearly you're not good at all. Because Eric Ten Hag failed manager at Manchester United, and even bigger failure at Bayern Leverkusen. He went to Bayern Leverkusen, he lost 2 games. The ownership said, you know what, we're not keeping this manager. Let him be gone, man. And they immediately sent him away. After 2 games, man, they only lost 2 games at the beginning of the season. And that was enough for the management to say, you know what, this coach is not taking us anywhere. Get rid of him. Anyway, but when Benny is a comment on TV, there's a lot of tactics. My friend, see, some of these pundits are very good, especially behind the scenes, other in front of the TV. But now when it comes to delivering on the pitch, because that's a totally different ball game, they actually fail, kabisa. So that's why sometimes I say, you know what, it might even for us. I also hold myself to that standard. For me, I can't say that I'm a better coach than this guy, and this guy, because I've not been put in that situation. But sometimes you do see some of the mistakes that are made. You're like, my friend, those are schoolboy errors, man. In fact, why are you even making such mistakes? For me, I'm just a fan who's not paid anything even to do that. For you, you're paid maybe upwards of maybe 1,000,000 shillings or 500,000 shillings, or even maybe like $5,000 or even $1,000 to do that job. So then, why are you making such mistakes, man? So you see, at the same time, there's also a lot of money involved as well. So, and of course, for you, you are at that level where we expect more because, of course, of the pay, and also because of the level that you're at. So for me, I think we're just wasting our time with Benny McCarthy. I think at some point we just have to cut our losses. But unfortunately, I don't think the management is gonna dismiss him before AFCON 2027, unless maybe we suffer very heavy defeats when it comes to international friendlies. Because, like I said, because we have qualified for AFCON, we don't need to play any qualifiers. We're just gonna whenever there's an international break, we're just gonna be playing friendlies. So I don't know, those friendlies now gonna be played. The next round of friendlies is gonna be played in March, and then of course that will be the last round of friendlies until now. Maybe let's say like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the World Cup, we're gonna have maybe a few teams also playing international friendlies just to do a bit of warm up before the World Cup, and then of course after the tournament we now resume the normal schedule of international breaks. Yeah, of course, in September, October, and November. So, of course, as you know, throughout all that, Kenya is not gonna be playing in any international qualifiers, so we're only gonna be playing friendlies. So maybe if we were to get more games against Senegal, where we'd continue to get thrashed, continue to get beaten, maybe it's gonna get to a point where the management will see, you know what, we're just wasting our time. Because you see, we have a very wonderful chance of at least getting out of the group, especially because of that added incentive of playing at home. But now, if we have a coach who clearly admits openly to the entire world that it's not his tactics that are working, it's actually the money that has been promised. You see, the reverse is also true, that when money is not on the line, then your team has got no kind of desire to perform or even to play at all. So in this case, it should be so long as there's no money on the line, so long as you've not been promised some prize or some prize money for winning a game or such, then you don't need to play well, because that is what had happened at Chan. For every victory that the Kenya had to have, each player was promised, each player and also the technical bench was promised 1 million Kenya shillings. So they made some good money. They clearly made some good money. But anyway, that is the story with our country, my brother. That is the story with our country. Yes, that's why I do get a Bafana, especially when they also experience this, because there's usually a very, very high expectation. Because, of course, you hold your country to that higher standard where you'd want them to perform better. But unfortunately, they don't do so. And, of course, the same thing for Kenya. I think our issue is that we don't have enough grassroots facilities that are able to now progressively keep producing talent for the national team. Yes, we have the clubs that are actually producing players from time to time, but if you look at our league is so uncompetitive, man. It is so uncompetitive, man. I think it's one of the least competitive leagues, yeah. Because even getting to watch one game sometimes more or less feels labor. I know it's because we have been spoiled by watching Champions Leagues, watching World Cups, watching Euros, watching AFCONs, that now we carry the exact same expectation whenever now we come to watching games for our country. But of course, you see, but now that if that is the standard, then that is the standard that you should be aspiring to. Should not be hoping we should not be aiming for lower. Kenya is a rich country, bro. Yes, yes, it's a rich country. That's why I said I think there's normally a huge disparity between countries that are super rich and also maybe advanced technology wise, and now when it comes to football. Because in Africa, it's like the countries that are not very developed are the ones that are very good in football. You look at the West African countries. West African countries compared to North African countries, East Africa, likes of Kenya, and also maybe South Africa, are not that advanced technology wise and also that developed. Because I think in Africa, Kenya, I think maybe sits maybe I think in the top 6 or top 5 of most developed countries. Because I think most developed, I think, should be South Africa. I think up there is South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt, and maybe other countries. Yeah, yeah, South Africa, Morocco, Egypt. Yeah, so Kenya, and maybe I don't know about the likes of Botswana. I don't know how they are, but I think. But let me check. Let me look at that stat. Let me look. It's actually a stat. Most developed countries in Africa 2026. Let me check who's actually in the top 5. Let me check. Let me check who are the most developed countries. Let me check. Let me check. I think there's top 5. I don't think so. I don't think we. Also, in terms of human. Okay, let me check another stat. Actually, top 10 most developed countries in Africa. Seychelles are at the very top, followed by Mauritius. Of course, that's expected because of tourism. And as you can see, are those two countries good in football? Nope. Seychelles, Mauritius? Nope. Algeria, Tunisia? Okay, Algeria, of course. Tunisia, on some level, yes. Egypt, South Africa, Gabon, Botswana, Libya, and Morocco. Actually, Libya above Morocco. Wow. That's the top 10, eh? So Kenya, we don't even feature in the top 10. I think we're in the top, what? I think maybe the top 20, eh? Top 20. So maybe I should look for most developed cities, not countries, because I think Nairobi should be right up there. Most developed cities. In terms of infrastructure, administration, and all that. Yep. Yeah. Nairobi is there, my friend. Nairobi is there. Yeah. Cairo, Nairobi, Kigali. Yep. I think that is what I was confusing. Yeah. I'd confused the developed cities with the countries. So, among the most developed cities in Africa, we have Addis Ababa at the very top, then Cape Town, then Johannesburg, then Cairo, then Nairobi in fifth, Lagos, Kigali, Dar es Salaam, Accra, and Abidjan in Ivory Coast. So that is all. Of course, Kenya is normally a hot hub for some of these African countries. Our national stadium in Zimbabwe has no seats, bro. It would be illegal in the English fourth league. If you can make it to AFCON, Kenya should be there. True. Exactly. You see what I mean, man? Countries that are not that developed, or rather have, don't say fewer facilities, but don't have the facilities that we have, are able to qualify for such tournaments. But for us, we are unable to. And for me, the best example is what? Sudan. A Sudan country that has been embroiled in a national civil war over the past 2 years is able to qualify for AFCON. While a country like Kenya that has not had any kind of civil war, other than maybe the post-election violence like over 10, 15 years ago, is unable to qualify. But a country that is in war at the present time is able to qualify for the World Cup. While for us, we're just making up the numbers in Africa. That's why I said, no, what? I honestly have a long way to go. We have a long way to go as a country, man. Such a long way to go, man. And that's why I do get Bafana coach. I'm other fans, especially because you know the level of investment that you have put in the sport. Because if you look at Bafana, how many teams now in the National League have got the stadiums of their own? Of course, Orlando Pirates, Super Sport United, big teams, Santos, Amazulu, Pittsburgh Wits, which other club? Mamelodi Sundowns, yes. Kaizer Chiefs. These are teams that already have their national stadiums, rather their club stadiums. But you see now in Kenya, unfortunately, many clubs do not even have their own national stadiums. So that's why I understand why you'd say that why in Zimbabwe don't even have seats. Yeah, in Kenya, trust me, many teams don't even have their own national stadium. In fact, a team like Gor Mahia, a very big club in Kenya as far as Kenyan football is concerned, would have is supposed to have a stadium, but because maybe of finances and all that, maybe other issues, managerial issues, maybe corruption and such, they don't have one. So they're normally forced to play their home games at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi. So they treat the national stadium as their home venue. And of course, they're not the only team that does so. I think also Tusker FC, another club in Kenya, also treats Nyayo Stadium, the Kasarani Stadium as their national stadium. So you see clearly that we should be way advanced. But that's why I said at the top of the stream, there is that video that I was watching earlier about the reason why East Africa is poor in football. Yeah, you can go and have a look at it. Go and look at it and see why they say that. It's because, unfortunately, the guy was saying that East Africa focused their efforts after independence. Rather than focus their efforts on maybe sports like other countries, they decided to focus their efforts on survival. or now maybe ensuring that there is food and all that. But you have the best Olympic athletes in Kenya. Do they put money? Yes, they pump a lot of money. Yes, in fact, that is what that guy said on that video. That is the other issue in Kenya. Of course, people would say, investors would say, why should I invest in a club that is going to take maybe even 10 to 20 years to even win any kind of thing? And in fact, they have never won any kind of trophy as far as the African football is concerned. But I'd rather invest in an athlete whom I know if goes to the Olympics or the World Championships might actually get a silver medal, a bronze medal, a gold medal, and actually might get return on my investment. So a lot of money is now poured into athletics, and very little is reserved for football. In fact, if you look at some of the things that actually happened in Kenya, so many things have been undone by either corruption, mismanagement, and also things being run through cartels. Where you are told for you to break through to maybe the next level of football, you need to maybe give us some money for you even to be registered. At the same time, you have to perform, ensure that if you get this cut, you're bringing us this level of money. And at the same time, the other issue that we have also suffered is do not have fully professionals, because you see the profession is not really uh helping people even remain afloat in terms of earning a living. Because you see, in other countries, especially in Europe, you can clearly see that players are earning a living based on their talent and also playing football. But of course, now in Kenya, it's not really sustainable, because you have most of these players, they double up as footballers, and also you might hear that this guy maybe is a plumber, Paki, on the side. He also maybe a taxi driver, or maybe he's doing another side hustle on the side. So you can clearly see that because the profession is not that advanced and it's not able to provide enough resources for the player, so he's able to double up and supplement with other things. And of course, if you do that, your focus is now split, because you can imagine maybe you're expected to be there in the training camp, but for you have a gig, maybe a singing gig or maybe an acting gig or something. So you realize that because you're not doing whatever you're doing as a full-time profession, so you do not have enough time to develop, do not have enough time on the training pitch. So more or less becomes so whenever you come up against teams that actually do this thing on a full-time basis, becomes super difficult. So it's semi-pro. Yes, it's clearly semi-pro. It's really semi-pro. Yeah, so in fact, it's just that in the past few years that now people have been able to have earn a living from from the profession. But back in the day, it used to be a semi-pro type of arrangement where you are told, okay, so an international friendly is coming up in 2 weeks, so we are gonna resume camp maybe next week. So more or less suspend what you guys are doing so at least you can be available for that. But at least at club football, I don't know how sustainable it is, because at the same time, it's not really the best, man. Because maybe people are earning peanuts, man. People are really earning peanuts because we do not have a serious, what are they called? Serious sponsors that actually just pump money into the clubs. And at the same time, so many betting companies now rely on these clubs, especially to market them and also to maybe just get them out there. So I know 200K a week. No, 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 no. I don't think so. Don't even have 200K a week. I think the average age. I remember what was the average age? Average age. Not the average salary, rather. Salary of footballer in Kenya. Let me look at 2025 records. I don't 200K. That's a lot of money, my friend. That's a lot of money. In fact, that is actually in the top maybe 2% of this country. So this is according to one of our best strikers in Kenya. It's called Dennis Oliech. He says that according to Oliech, no player in Kenya Premier League should be earning anything less than 100k per month. He adds that the National Super League deserves baseline of 5k, while Division 1 players should be taking home maybe something like 30k. And those in Division 2, not less than 20k. So, how many clubs can actually afford this? How many clubs can actually afford this kind of wage structure? Very, very few. So, let me see. Average salary, FKF Premier League. Let me check this record as well. Omondi, Ebu. Let me see. Why is that? Let me check. What about the guys who are up? Omondi who joined above 80 Kenya shillings. As player used to earn around 150 Kenya shillings. See, that's the highest, 150 Kenya shillings. That's back in the day. That was 2017. But for right now, I don't think it should be that high. We played against Tusker when I was at Thika. I dominated the game, but went out and down and we were umps. Scored 5 minutes. Abu, let me check. Let me check. Yeah, so you can clearly see it. Maybe rough, it ranges between 50k maybe to 150. So clearly you can see that is not. And you see, you also have to account for that might be the basic wage. You have not factored in agent fees, tax, and all that. So maybe that could be the fee that is not taxed. So now if you adjust for tax, it now becomes a whole lot lower, man. So, I don't know if all reaches football, but I think what do footballers earn in Kenya? Michael Olunga is one. Talking about Michael Olunga. Michael Olunga does not play in Kenya. Let me check. Another source of is actually, can also, let me check on ChatGPT. That's actually a good conversation to have. They should come to Europe. Yes, of course they should come. That is why they look for every possible of going to Europe. That's why whenever they get any opportunity of just getting out of the KPL or the KPL, they actually just go to a different country. Average, let me just check. Wage of footballer in Kenya 2025. So top clubs like Gor Mahia, Tusker, AFC Leopards pay roughly 80k to 400k per month in 205, while Gor Mahia at the highest earner end another 200 to 400k between about Gor Mahia, while Gor Mahia at the highest end 200 to 400k and others between 65k to 250k on average. Well, actually, yeah, your estimate was quite correct. It was quite correct. So, but of course, that figure is of course now adjusted for inflation and such things. So, and of course, maybe on the side, they also have sponsorship deals, personal endorsements. What else do they also cater in to those bonuses as well? Yeah, match bonuses, whether assist bonus, clean sheet bonus for goalkeepers or defenders, assist bonus maybe for midfielders, strikers, of course, goal bonus and such. Yeah. So, of course, those are some of the things that they do factor in. So they say many clubs supplement base wages with performance bonuses, housing and travel allowances, and match fees. This means take-home earnings can be more moderately higher but vary by club and contract. So important notes. There's a wide disparity between domestic league wages and those of Kenyans playing internationally. Of course, those are playing internationally are being paid in dollars or euros or maybe those in the PSL, of course, they're being paid in rand, and of course, the rand is way stronger than the Kenya shilling. Yeah, so some advocates argue domestic minimum wages should be much higher than current prices. EG calls for the 50 minimum, reflecting dissatisfaction with by the book pay levels. You see, it also comes down to, are the clubs making enough money to be able to pay their players that much? That's the other thing, because please check the salary of the National League in England. It's the 5th league. Oh, so the level that Kenya is at is actually the same as the one that is in the English 5th league. Let me check. National League, yeah, it's Conference League. Actually, the conference, yeah. So let me check. Average salary of footballer in Nation League in England. England, that is in 2025, because we don't have 2026 data yet. £1,000. Sheesh. £1,000 a week. £1,000. Let's convert that to Kenyan money, because the exchange rate, I think right now it's 170. Yes, it's actually 160, between 160 and 170 pounds to the Kenya shilling. So yeah, clearly you can see that yes, our level is at that is of the National League. That is where our league is. That is why whenever now people call for standardization, people will be like, but our league is not that good. It's actually the equivalent to the Conference League in England. So why should they be getting that much money? That's why before any of the players do break out into maybe the Premier League, they do have to go, maybe they have to leave Kenya. They go maybe to either Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Bahrain, and then maybe now they are picked up by a European club, maybe in Belgium or France, or normally they go to Belgium or France, or maybe Denmark, or maybe Norway, or maybe Sweden, and then maybe they start making their way onto maybe a Scottish league, or maybe eventually also a Premier League. Because if I'm to look at maybe the progress of somebody like Victor Wanyama, let me look that, because that's the best case. That's the best. That's the best case study as far as Kenya is concerned. And see, this guy is only 34 years of age, but unfortunately, it looks like if he might already be washed. So, yeah, Victor Wanyama, yeah, Belgium Pro League. Then the Belgium Pro League, he played for Beerschot AC rather. Then he was picked up by Celtic. He went to Southampton. Then he went to Tottenham. Now he plays in the Major League Soccer in Montreal. Actually, no, and then he eventually left Montreal. He went to Dunfermline Athletic in the Scottish Championship. So he's gone back to Celtic. So you can clearly see that that is how maybe it might go. Okay, maybe let me look for somebody like McDonald Mariga. Somebody like McDonald Mariga. He's born in 1987. Let us look at his progression. Yeah, see, yeah, this is now the guy that now went, more or less, his progression was more or less what we call from the grassroots level now to the very top. Started off at Tusker in 2003. He went to Kenya Pipeline, and then he went to this should be a Swedish team. It's called Ekpongs. Where is it? It's a Swedish team here, and actually now the Swedish Division 2 team. You see now that is the Swedish Division 2 team. It's not even the Swedish top team, yeah? Then he, of course, he went to Helsingborg. Helsingborg was in Sweden. Now that was now a team in the top league. Then now he went to Parma. Parma is in the Serie A. Then now he went to Inter Milan. After Inter Milan, he had loans at Real Sociedad and Parma again. Then he went to Latina. Then went to Real Oviedo. Then he eventually went to Cuneo Cancao. Where is this? Where is this, man? It was an Italian club that eventually it was closed. It was actually in the Serie D. So you can clearly see that is the progression. You start with the grassroots. For me, for somebody like Mariga now more or less portrays the model that any Kenyan player that wants to get to the top might actually follow, because like you've seen, if you are maybe to level it out with the ages, our level is basically the same level as League, not even League 2 or League 1, even National League. Yeah, because National League is actually one of the very lowest. Either National League, or maybe Conference. Don't know which one is lower, but let me check levels of English League football. But let me check. English League football system. And of course, you look at the English League because it's one of the best leagues. So, of course, you're supposed to measure it based on that. So, of course, the lowest level is a regional feeder, which, of course, I think any Kenyan player is better than that. Regional is maybe now having maybe teams for maybe university level, or maybe home based teams. Then of course you have which one is this? Regional, and then you go to step 5, 4. Then of course you get to the National League. Of course you have the Northern League, Northern Premier Division. Then of course you have the National League North, National League South. Then of course you get in the National League. Then of course you go to League 2, League 1, Championship, and then Premier League. So you can clearly see for us, we're not at the very bottom, but at least our level is more or less on National League. That's why whenever you see any player leave Kenyan football, they don't go into any Premier League team. They maybe go to a team in Qatar, or maybe another lower league team, Sweden or other European team. Then eventually maybe they work their way up to maybe a team in the French league, or a team in the Italian league, or maybe eventually getting to the Premier League. So that is normally the trajectory of players. So maybe that is something that is going to change at some point. It's going to change at some point. Top Kenyan players can play on League 2 level 100%. That's true. It's true. They can play. They can play League 2 level. Yeah. So you see this guy that plays for Grimsby. Yeah, that also plays for Kenya. I forgot his name. I think it's called Oduor. Yeah. Guy plays for Grimsby Town. Yeah. In fact, he was part of the winning team that beat Manchester United in the League Cup way back in August. Yes. League 2 is a bad league. Trust me, bro. Yeah. But in terms of quality, or I think I mean quality. I think you mean quality, yeah. £1,000 is about 1 million per month. £1,000, about 1 million Kenya shillings per month? No, I don't think so. The British pound to the Kenyan shilling, I think, is let me check. BP pounds to it's not that high. It's not 1 million shillings. Yeah, like I said, it's 170, yeah, because 1 British pound is equivalent to 174 Kenyan shillings. So, of course, 1,000. Wait, I'm the one who's calculating wrongly. Hiya. Because you see, okay, 1,000 multiplied by 174 is what? You get 17K, 170. It's 1 million. Oh, sorry. Yes, you are right. Sorry, Prince. Yes, you are right. It's actually 1 million. It's actually 1 million Kenya shillings. It's actually 1 million. I think I'm the one who has miscalculated. I don't know why I was treating it as 170K. It's actually 1.7 million. It's actually 1.7 million, man. Oh, now you see where we are. Now you see where we are. See how far back we are. Those are the levels that we need to get to, man. So that's why, of course, there's call for standardization. But like I said, it's also pegged on how much money these clubs make and how much they are willing to pay these players. Because of course our quality. That's why even when it comes to for Kenyan Premier League, when it comes to us qualifying for CAF, the team that normally wins the Premier League, Kenyan Premier League, more or less goes into the qualifying stage of CAF. I think round 1, round 2, and then maybe if we do progress through that now, maybe now qualify for the group stage. So you can clearly see we are at the very, very lowest level. If maybe also liken maybe Kenya to a team in Europe, maybe what? An Azerbaijan or a what? I think an Azerbaijan. No, Croatia is actually a high ranking team, so Croatia no. Maybe an Azerbaijan, a Georgia, a Czech Republic, yes. Because you see now when those some of those teams, whenever now they want to qualify for the Champions League, they have to go through qualifying, first round of qualifying, second round of qualifying, third round of qualifying. Then eventually, if they do make it the third round, now they get past the third round. Now they qualify for the league phase of the Champions League. So that is how the same kind of path that Kenya follow when it comes to CAF. So you can clearly see we are at the very, very bottom, man. But of course, yeah, League Two players, yeah, Kenyan players can actually play comfortably, especially in League Two. Especially the ones that maybe are Tusker and all that, can actually play comfortably in League Two, Yeah. Eventually, maybe hoping to get into League One. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it a night now. So thank you so much, Prince, and the other guys who have been part of the chat. At least we have gotten to dissect some of the issues that is facing our countries, especially when it comes to sports. And as you can see, this is clearly not a topic that we can exhaust in one sit down. This is actually a topic that we should discuss further and further because it carries a lot of weight. Anyway, like I said, tomorrow have a number of games lined up. We have Egypt versus Benin that will be starting at 1900 hours, and then later on you're going to have Ivory Coast versus Mozambique. Not Mozambique, Burkina Faso. Ivory Coast versus Burkina Faso. That is going to be taking place at 2200 hours. So please also tune in for those watch-alongs that are going to be covering tomorrow. As far as this one is concerned, Morocco have progressed and so have Cameroon. So those two are going to meet in the quarterfinal. Quarterfinals, I think, are going to start on Friday. So yes, also going to follow the same format. So on that particular day, we're going to have 2 games. On Friday, already have the first game between Mali and Senegal, and of course we also await the other winners of the other round of 16, so at least the quarterfinal lineup is gonna be completed. Anyway, thank you so much, the likes of Prince and every other person who was in the chat, who was staying this long, at least having this football discussion. It's good at least to have these discussions, man. At least we see how we can help our countries especially progress when it comes to football and sports, because this was another avenue where we can create awareness and also opportunities. Anyway, thank you so much for all those who are part of the watch along, for those that also subscribe to the channel. As always, God bless you guys. Double salute to all of you. Thank you so much for the support. As always, much appreciated, man. And of course, let's hope that you're going to meet tomorrow for the other games that are going to be taking place. And hope you guys are going to have a wonderful evening. We're going to have a wonderful night as well. And as always, if you're going to come across this stream and you have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you in fact subscribe to the channel. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Peace. See you tomorrow.